like a reasonable sequence could be Mana Crypt, get it countered, then play a Workshop, then play anything. Josh would have had to heal the land on that turn.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like going after the Mana Crypt when you're kind of on this beatdown plan, like if you're in Greg's position, like a lot of games where Josh doesn't scoop, you're kind of hoping to go wide and go around a Lodestone Golem and things like that. So, get him again.
Oh man, that's a misstep. Never been so good.
All right.
See a first turn Revoker. What do you think he names here in the dark deck?
I gotta feel like he just names a Mox that's not in his hand, but Greg has a Swords to Plowshares, and it doesn't look like a ton else. I mean, he's got an Ancestral, but it's maybe not the turn you want to cast it.
Even the draw step Ancestral and Josh's upkeep, or sorry, the upkeep Ancestral.
Yeah, that's possible. I think I'd probably just preordain here.
Sure, makes a lot of sense. Set up your draws for the next couple turns.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit ambitious to fetch out the Tundra. I think a lot of times you end up probably keeping a land that you see out the preordain.
Alright, Greg.
Just going for it.
Sorcerer Speed Ancestral seems pretty reasonable. Greg kills a Mox, so is rewarded for his play.
George, where are you?
See, if you look at his hand, though, he's got like 2 mental missteps there.
Yeah.
Not great in this matchup. And here's the
Lodestone Golem.
Cavernous Souls Lodestone Golem.
Likely that it will resolve. Yep, looks like it was on Golem here. Greg now looking for a way to like do something. Starts on the Lodestone, buys him a little bit of time.
Yeah, a little better than hitting the Revoker.
Yeah. At the cost of 5 life for Josh, but that's alright.
And those cards are terrible. More mental missteps and cards that don't do anything in this matchup.
Finds another Ponder. That one's good. That's a Sundering Titan. Sundering Titan also gonna resolve.
Although, interestingly, Greg actually can resolve Treasure Cruise here, and now has a Force.
That's pretty good.
So, not dead.
Really quick.
Not quite. Not yet. We'll see if he leads with and he's drawing a second artifact to power up his Academy.
Okay. I mean, if he finds a land and a Swords here,
he can
I'm pretty sure.
can maybe locate a Mentor and get a lot of blocking done.
maybe. And this Preordain's essentially free because it fills up his graveyard and makes Treasure Cruise cheaper.
Yeah.
Cavernous Soul's another card not affected by Sundering Titan. I believe Greg's floating 1 blue. There we go.
Gets to exile 7 cards, cast another Ancestral Recall, another Sorcerer Speed. There's Auriok Salvagers. Unfortunate that Greg had to exile so many of... Oh, there weren't any artifacts in this graveyard anyway.
Okay. So Greg's actually looking pretty good here. If he can find... I guess he's looking for Black Lotus or LED. He can make infinite mana, although he doesn't have a draw card like a Spellbomb or something like that.
Sure. Josh makes a reasonable play of attacking for 7.
Okay, so this is not a Golem, so I would expect to see a Force coming up, pitching a Mental Misstep that does nothing.
Yep. Cost of 1 life.
Greg is at 5, so it's do or die time.
Needs to roll well. Need to find a
Takes 3, goes to 2. That's alright.
Not bad.
Mostly irrelevant.
Needs a creature. This does make the Revoker lethal. Ponders the draw. Is that an Explosives?
It looks like it.
Yeah, we'll see if Greg can get to 8. well, he does have an Emerald, you know. There goes blue. Cast it for 1. Cast the Explosives for 1.
Did he? No, I think he cast it for 0.
Oh, that makes sense too.
I think, yeah, if he finds like a Mox Opal, he can make infinite off of...
Oh. He has the Crypt and the Opal. Plus this way he gets out of his own Mana Crypt.
Yeah, let's see, he would need to be able to make 1 more mana to just break even, so I'm not quite sure here, but we'll see.
The Cavernous Souls might probably on human.
Yep, name's human, which I believe Tasker is a human, so he can make a blocker, but then he still might die to this Mana Crypt flip.
Yeah, he can't. He'd have to soar. How can he cast his Tasigur and blow up his own Mana Crypt faster? That's a question here. Looks like he declines to go for it and hopes he rolls well.
Well, he can't make a white now, although he has a Plains in his hand, so...
Sure. And he hasn't played land this turn, right? He had Cavern into...
That seems right. That seems right.
So, okay, 3 to cast a Tasigur. That's only 5. Oh, no, he had a mana floating from his Tolarian Academy.
It's really hard to do all this math with all the Tolarian Academies and the Mana Crypts and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we'll see if Josh wants to take an extra free set of damage here. Declines.
All right.
Type play. I like it.
So Greg pops it.
We see the normal combat from Summer Time. That's Triskelion. The little finger waggle. Let's see if, yep, Josh deals 3 damage with the Triskelion.
All right.
Pretty
For those of you not sure what's going on, there was a lot of combat that potentially happened. There was some vintage blocking, and then Josh Monks played a Triskelion, which is a 6-mana 1/1 that comes into play with 3 +1/+1 counters,
making it a 4/4.
You can remove a +1/+1 counter to do 1 damage to any target.
Any target, including Greg the player,
who is it to?
To less than 3.
Less than 3. That's right.
I believe I'm qualified to say that. We'll see if we can't squeeze one more game in here. That's Dak Faden. That's your boy, as I understand it.
I'm a huge Dak Faden fan. I've had to wean myself down from main decking him in everything.
Yeah, I think you and Dak are on the first name basis.
It was really good when you could treasure cruise in Legacy, but he got a little worse with Dig Through Time, and now without any of those, he's just not good enough against like the Miracles matchup and the other grindy matchups.
Yeah, if it was split second steal an artifact, that'd be pretty good, but Dak's not that good.
Right. Right, so I think Greg's best card right here is Dak Faden because Pyroblast does nothing.
Gives him a chance to discard that bad card.
Yeah, and I think he chose to draw Tolarian Academy, but he really wants a red source here.
Yeah, so he can't land that Dak Faden and borrow that metal runner. Just for a little bit, maybe.
Not quite a red source. Okay.
Trinket Mage to play. I think he's going to find a Red Source.
I think he's got to get Black Lotus here.
Does good point here. Could find a Great Furnace, or could find a. Oh no, he can't find his Pearl.
Great Furnace.
I mean, he already played a land.
Oh, that's so lame.
Oh, there it is.
Should have gotten the Furnace.
We'll see how much mana Josh feels like making here. Okay, 10. 10's a good amount.
Sure.
All right, I'm on board. We'll see what's going to lead us off. Trinisphere, the play.
All right. This hand's not great though. It doesn't have any boom booms in it. I kind of expect this Revoker to name Mox Ruby since Greg kind of obviously wants the.
Can't be Pearl. Could be Lotus. Probably not Lotus now.
All right. And then Josh kind of says, "Screw you, Trinisphere. I'm just going to pay 3 mana for this Black Lotus. I don't care."
Yeah, he likes to play on hard mode here.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Now, Zach, if Greg were to have engineering explosives here, that would be pretty good. That's why Jace the Mind Sculptor, less exciting, but still pretty powerful.
Okay. What did Josh name with Revoker, do you think? I mean,
I have no.
How do you name anything except for
I'll go find out.
Ruby? Alright, so here's Jace, getting rid of some pretty dead cards. Alright.
Look at all these magic cards. Oh, it's so crazy.
Look at these creds.
Look at all these crads.
Zach, he must have heard us trash talking Dak Faden. That's what the Revoker's name.
Oh, okay. That seems good too. I mean, Dak doesn't do a ton on this board, but it does kind of rescue how sad Greg's hand is.
True. Gets to.
Okay, Josh chooses not to attack. I mean, continuing to want to preserve the Revoker on Dak.
Jace has none of that, and
he bounces.
Here comes Dak Faden.
Here he comes.
Oh no, there he goes. Greg trying to sequence his plays correctly here. Wants to play a 3 mana.
Sure.
Reasonable.
So 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a Dak with 1 floating. Super good under Trinisphere.
Josh shows off his wares for Dak to steal.
Yeah.
I think Greg might just try to loot here though, right?
Don't you just snap steal Trinisphere? That card is so good. Don't you want it?
He can gives him a way to tap it. Maybe you could tap your own Trinisphere.
Yep.
Did Greg just?
I think he just looted to the top of his library. I will inform him that is not allowed.
We'll go educate right quick. Honestly not quite sure that Dak should have 5 counters on him. Goes down to the correct 4, and Greg finding out that the cards that he discarded are now in the graveyard. Zach, that was very sporting. I bet he would have been pretty mad if he had drawn that misstep for a second time.
Yeah, it's one of those times where, like, you play not with the cards, and it just helps your opponent so much more than you.
Yeah. 3 mana to cast
Black Lotus.
Okay, that makes it pretty fair, I think.
Right.
A 3 in, 3 out. Thinking on Jace here. Jace likes the brainstorm. Draw 3 puts you back.
Okay, a lot of cantrips here. Pretty pricey underneath the Trinisphere. You would have probably liked to see a fetch land.
Yeah.
I imagine this is going to be a ponder to kind of shuffle those away.
Let's see if Greg looks at them. Yeah, the Academy
Doing a lot of work.
Yeah, helping Greg get out of that. You know, Greg paid 3 to play a Mox Jet, and then played 3 to play a Lotus, and now reaping the rewards of his pricey investment. Auriok Salvagers, the draw. That's pretty strong.
Okay, and he's got a Black Lotus in play, so he does have infinite mana.
He does not. You have to pay 3 to recast the Black Lotus.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah.
All right.
Duplicant. Oh. Duplicant threatening the Jace immediately. Already killed the Dak in one shot. Now Greg gets to untap, use Jace to bounce the Revoker, go ham with his Lotus Auriok Salvagers, and then... no, he doesn't. Greg instead trying to find a way to use his infinite mana with the Salvagers.
Well, the Trinisphere is what's keeping him from making infinite mana.
Oh, that's right. You're right. In my mind, he just steals the Trinisphere, and then it's all over.
You really wanted it to happen. We all do, but it doesn't work like that.
No, it does not.
All right, so imagine we're back to looting, although he could start stealing Metalworkers or Black Lotuses just to keep him off mana. I don't know how good that is.
The slow burn. Maybe Greg is looking to attack with his humans.
Yeah? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to use Dak's Plus ability with no cards in hand.
Yeah.
It's just not great.
Not super good. Greg has a chance to blow his Lotus and then rebuy it in his end step. Gets to start the turn. You know, just for fun. That's just a fun game. Yeah. Is that yet a second Dak Faden?
Yeah, he saw that last turn off the Brainstorm, I believe.
I see.
So this is dig, and you're a judge.
Yeah.
So you can choose to overdig past the Trinisphere. Is that right?
Right. So Trinisphere is an ability that changes the way it changes how spells cost.
Okay.
Delve is an ability that changes how you pay. So exiling cards from your graveyard counts as a payment, which happens after the cost setting effect. So in this case, Greg can exile. Greg doesn't have to even overpay. He just gets to remove 6 cards and eat a... Oh, no, that's something to do with the Black Lotus. Greg can just pay 8 distributed throughout cards and mana.
Huh. Okay. All right, so Greg is going to pay 3 for Monastery Mentor. Mm-hmm. Can't overpay for that. And then he's not able to make infinite mana with the Auriok Salvagers because in order to sack Black Lotus and put it in play, it costs a total of 5 mana.
Correct.
But he can essentially do it, you know, some number of times per turn to put a gross amount of tokens in play.
Yeah. Looks like gonna wrap with 2, maybe 3 tokens here.
Yeah. And he does have to do it at sorcery speed. It's not like you can use this ability at instant speed, right?
Auriok Salvagers is instant speed.
Oh, okay.
But casting the Lotus is sorcery speed as you'd expect. So we're well on set of time here. We've got one match we're looking at here. I think we're gonna head up back to the booth and go down just for a brief commercial, or we'll see if the guys want to shuffle up some more.
All right.
I don't want to get up and tell them to stop playing. Vintage really is the best way to kill time between legacy matches.
I'm pretty blown away that Greg's taken even 2 matches though. I mean, like, Josh's last hand was pretty explosive, but didn't have a lot of action in it. And I think if you're going to be playing Mud, you really want to be mulliganing to a hand that's going to pressure your opponent's ability to cantrip and cast cheap spells, and yeah, that just didn't do it.
The heuristic of keep any hand with turn 1 Metalworker gets you a lot, but not enough in this case.
Yeah, I mean,
Metalworker to accelerate into a second Metalworker, not really what you're looking
yeah,
for.
you're not trying to cast like Primeval Titans and Coslex. You're trying to cast like multiple spheres and things like that in the center. All right, here we go. Next round.
Looks like we're preparing for the next round. All right, fantastic. Well, we'll just stay up with you guys for just a little bit, if that's all right.
I don't really think we need to go down. I'm back in the booth, and I know that's what everyone's here to watch. So.
That's very correct.
Got to watch me play Magic. Got a good question to say here.
I got to tell you, as sweet as it was to watch you kill him with Triskelion.
Yeah, did you like my... I was pretty excited.
Yeah, Triskelion. I really like that guy. Especially the I think Greg has Korean.
Well, sorry about that, guys. We didn't mean to go down.
I had to sneeze.
Yeah.
I got that out. I feel really good now.
Our spotter asked to go down, and we thought he meant stay up, and so I gave him the yes signal, and then he turned up. But we'll stay up for you guys. Do we have the feature matches paired already?
I think we're still inputting results from the previous round. But it shouldn't be too long. We've got them all just in a line. Click, click, click. Fire up the next round. You might get to see us make decisions on camera.
Ooh, yeah, they always like that.
Yeah, the players like to do that down in the match.
Yeah.
And we'll do it up here in the booth for you.
Yeah, we got some high-level decisions to make. So
Yeah, do we want to make you sit through an Allure match? How about some tin fins and so on and so forth?
Yeah.
Consult my clipboard
People don't
here.
like miracles, I believe, so we try and avoid having miracles, but there are quite a few miracles players that do well with the deck, so you got to put them on there sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of Delver though. We can always put on a Delver mirror. I'm sure there's at least 3 Delver mirrors going on.
I think that pretty sure you're required to have a Delver mirror here, based on the number of players we've got.
I feel like we're guaranteed to have 3 Delver mirrors every round, but maybe that's not true.
I think there's something we could do to figure out if it's true or not. It could be some math.
Yeah, I feel like we could prove the probability is within like single percentage points, but I feel like unless more than half of the people in the tournament are playing Delver, there's no way we can actually guarantee that.
That's right. You, as a person who is on the internet and likes video games, you must have seen Day 9's show.
Spellslingers?
Day 9 is... Well,
I know who he is, but you said his show. Is it just called the Day 9 show?
The Day 9 Daily.
Okay, I'm not a big StarCraft guy.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
I believe the Day 9's mainly in StarCraft. I know he does he's got his fingers in kind of every single jar, but mainly he's a StarCraft guy, so I tend to watch him as much as other people do.
He's got a pretty well-known video, at least to me, talking about Graham's number. Graham's number, I'll spare you the math details, but Graham's number comes from a study that of bounds. What's the ratio of Delver players to non-Delver players where we would need in order to guarantee at least one Delver mirror for every round?
Is that assuming point values are not going to be impacted? It's just assuming everyone's at 0 points?
You could, there's some way to do it.
I'm sure you could probably see it.
The video talks about Graham's number and its derivation. Graham's number is an exceptionally big number.
I imagine so.
Yeah, because it's the number, I don't know, it's in some theorem. It's the biggest number on record. The biggest well-understood number. Okay. That's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Anyway, it's your cutest, your mom joke. Sorry to spoil it for you. You should look up the video, Day 9 Graham's number, very interesting.
I'll check it out.
But again, comes from this study of lower bounds. How many people do we need to be playing Delver in order to have a Delver match on camera every round?
I understand where the mom joke comes from.
That's too much. Yeah, it's a big one.
So how'd you like that feature match, the digital feature match?
Oh, that was superlative. I loved it. It's we got to see Dak Faden do a lot of Dak stuff.
Yeah, I had to pull up the Purge Master, but I couldn't play it because then he's dealing with Dak, so that was a little awkward.
Pretty rude. Dak Faden, strong thief.
So we just got pairings. Now we're trying to figure out who the feature match is. If you guys want to know what it looks like to us, we just have a pairing sheet.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking here. I've got the metagame breakdown here.
Yeah, you've got the metagame breakdown. I've got the pairing. So I kind of like this one at table 2. How do you feel? Mike Swales versus Jordan Short?
I'm for it.
I feel like Swales is probably playing Miracles though.
I think you're right, and Jordan's playing a show and tell strategy.
Okay. Well, I believe that Twitch chat does not like Miracles. We already had one on camera, so maybe we should avoid that one.
We can. Now we've got this one. We've got Daniel Wynn versus Riley Klinger.
Daniel Wynn, classic Elves player, one of the best.
Riley on a bug
Delver. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I'm in for that. How do you guys feel about that one? We, I don't actually have chat in front of me. So
we've actually got our monitors turned off so you can't see the glare in my glasses.
Otherwise, it's anime style. But yeah, so we'll get that one on camera. So Bug Delver versus Elves. Pretty good matchup. Big fan of Dan, big fan of watching him play.
Yeah, Riley, a cool guy, been around for as long as I can remember at least.
And I really like having Dan on camera because I really like foils. People disagree with me in that regard, but Dan is another guy who really likes foils.
Greg very courteously has Black Order duels, and so I can tolerate the foil.
Greg?
Dan.
Yeah, he does like his FPVs.
When I think of a player with Black Order duels, it's just Greg.
Yeah, makes sense. So there's quite a few now. You got quite a few in this gallery. More than one.
I don't want to get up to make this happen.
Yes. All right. I'm kind of just hoping Cornelio just gets up. Yeah. So we're gonna have Dan Wynn versus Riley Klinger. Dan's on Elves, Riley's on Bug Delver.
Can we have Dan on the green side, please?
Yeah, makes sense. Dan, he's all in the flavor of the deck. He believes that he is protecting the forest from intruders, and that is why the elves are fighting. Normally the elves stay in the forest to kind of do their own thing, but when you attempt to invade the forest is not fighting. He also, one of the big things about how elves works, the kind of engine of the deck, if you will, is Wild Symbiote plus Elvish Vision.
Right.
And he calls that the best friends card, because together they can defeat any enemy.
By letting its controller draw.
Yes. In addition to that, it also destroys any GT in play, because you can block the GT before damage bounce back to your hand and say nice damage, never got hit.
Yes, that's I have once beaten a turn 2 GT in Kamigawa Black Limited.
Okay. It's worse in limited than it is in constructed, correct?
No, it's way, way better.
Okay.
See, the thing is, like, GT is pretty good.
Yeah.
And, like, all the other cards in constructed, and in Legacy at least, are all pretty good too.
You know, pretty good. Fair enough.
Against many decks, you can land a GT and whatever, it's an extra 4 damage a turn. In constructed and limited, it's GT is like here, and then like every other card, the next best card that exists in the format is like in California.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in Seattle, which is pretty far north, and then
It's like
every
12-hour drive.
yeah, it's
They're about 12 hours apart as
think
the
so.
car drives.
12 car hours.
Assuming 60 miles an hour. 65, 80 speed. 80, okay.
It's difficult to go that fast in this.
We got a lot of hills.
Yeah, it's true.
Tend to drive a little safer. We also have a lot of rain, which kind of slows down speed as well.
And I think as we get through to Oregon, the rain, still seems a good amount of rain.
Yeah.
Down
Northern
there.
California as well.
So going slow.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about how good GTA is in comparison to every car.
Yeah.
Very contrived example.
I had to go long.
But to go south.
Just like this story went south pretty quickly.
Yes.
But the way that I was able to do that is by having a creature with a different sacrifice ability block every turn until I killed him with something.
There are quite a few sacrifice abilities in that set, right? A lot of the combos are.
Yeah, Frostling first come to mind. Moonlit Strider lets you block, sack,
Give something else pro, right?
get something protection, and also get back your Frostling. And so block again.
Block again. Riley's playing Bug Belt. And so we're just getting down to the match for you guys that just came in during that example.
Had a small snafu, it looks like in the last round's results entry, which is kind of delaying our start here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and get down to the match now.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Get those guys started. Looks like they already are. There's Dan on the left. I really like his tattoos. I really like his Batman shirt.
Honestly, I like the wrist cards too. It's never too early to start worrying about carpal tunnel, especially when you shuffle as much as enough.
Yeah. A lot of tutoring, Greenstone Zenith, fetches, natural order even. Usually you don't even have to tutor off natural order. You search natural order for Crater Hoof and then your opponent scoops.
If you're Dan likes to talk about, Dan is the elder elves player in our neighborhood. Every time someone tries to pick up a deck, they will go up to him and try to curry favor and say, Dan, I was doing so well, but then I drew both my hoofs and both my cradles. And Dan will say, yes, of course, the Crater Hoof Behemoth lives in the guy's cradle. That's why you drew it. It's the only place big enough to hold it.
Cradle Hoof Behemoth.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yes.
Anyway, Dan looks like he's going to 6 here.
The cool thing about elves is mulligan decisions are pretty easy. You just have to have enough lands to cast your spells and then you keep otherwise. And what's cool about that is you can mulligan down sometimes down to 2. I've actually lost against Dan when he mulliganed 3 and I kept my 7.
That is exceptional.
He did draw more lands and more creatures than I did.
Well, it's because he just drew more cards.
Yes.
Dan's got a Visionary and a land, so he'll keep, and he remembers his card.
Does not forget.
Really thinks so.
Scries again.
Yeah.
Scry one to the top again.
If at first you don't succeed, you must scry again.
Scry again. That's right.
He keeps and
I imagine this is going to get a basic forest. There's no black spells pre-board. Sometimes I like against wasteland decks getting bayous anyways because then my opponent wastelands them and then I play Gaia's Cradle.
especially with this query. Whoa, that's pretty good. And we saw the cradle in Dan's hand, but
So that is a Windswept Teeth out of this bug deck. I think I see a mountain in his hand as well, so maybe we were incorrect about this being bug. Is that
I see a Stoneforge and a Jit in his hand, and it was always Jitte and a Wasteland, and what are those?
I thought that was
Snapcaster Mages?
Pyroblast Mountain, but I might be incorrect.
I think I see
True
True
names.
and a what on earth is happening here?
Maybe he's playing, I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
Maybe he's playing Bergda.
Bergda. And so Dan looks like he's got a Sylvan Library. He's able to tap the land for mana, activate the Quirion Ranger, bounce the land back to his hand, untap it, play the land again. And Riley's going to go ahead and fetch here instead. I'm really curious as to what Riley's playing because I actually don't know.
Well, I see some brainstorms. I could have sworn I saw a Taiga out of his hand just
Okay, so that is a Tundra. So I imagine he's not playing straight bug.
Yeah.
I think he might be on Jeskai, not 100% sure.
Well, he started with the Winston Heath.
Yes. Which I'm also kind of confused about. So maybe it's a Forsey deck, maybe it's like a blue Naya
I
deck.
think I see Bant. I see Bant at this.
I do like Bant because if there's Bant, sometimes there's Warmonks, and that's where I live. So
That's your boy.
that's my house.
Squad.
Yeah. The pancakes are my favorite meal for a reason. I had someone get very angry at me. They asked me what my favorite breakfast food was, and I said pancakes. They told me I was wrong and waffles are the best. I told them the waffles don't get you through life. And they did.
That's slightly contrived.
He was a Magic player and he didn't understand the reference, so
That joke is very old. Like that joke is at least 5 years old.
Shards of Water was 2001. So it was 2010. I believe.
I think 2010.
I think Shards came out in September 2010. Yeah, okay.
That seems right.
It was about straight up 5 years ago. So there's a Guy's Cradle. It's a draw for Dan.
Yep. Not.
Currently has 0 mana, but I imagine that's about to change.
Looks like it's gonna go up, maybe by 1.
Yep, we got a Deathrite Shaman.
That one's pretty good.
And then another one is another Career Ranger. So Dan's just trying to put some threats on the board. I imagine he's going to have a Glimpse of Nature here if we get fired off. He's going to find it first.
We'll see if Riley wants to blow this wasteland immediately. He's
I
got a
imagine
second,
he does.
Got a second to follow as well.
Yeah, when you see a Guy's Cradle, you kill him. That's just what you do.
The old days, your opponent plays a creature that you don't know what it does. Yeah, except you know what Guy's Cradle does.
I imagine everyone does at this point. Everyone that plays Magic at least. It adds a lot of mana to your hand.
It's core functionality.
So there's a Nettle Sentinel and a
There's a natural
Cywood Symbiote and Natural. So he's got a couple options as to what he wants to do with this turn. Looks like he's going to want to have that Symbiote.
I think he's going to use Riley's mana denial strategy against him with this Deathrite Shaman. Going to land this Wirewood Symbiote, which gives him 2 ways to untap this Deathrite Shaman. Lets him accelerate even under the threat of a million wastelands.
He's got a lot of different things he can eat. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and activate Korean Ranger, untapping Deathrite, getting that land back. He's going to replay the land. So he's got 2 mana floating right now. That's right. Going to 3 mana right now. That's right.
Let's see what the 3 mana spell in this. He's assembled the squad.
Yeah, Best Friend Squad in play. So he's got 1 mana floating right now, I believe.
Nettle Sentinel behind this forest.
Forest in the pants. Where you keep him.
That's you should practice hygiene, guys.
At least they're full of forests. Nothing to get caught on.
It wasn't me that caught that joke. So Dan, with his Sylvan, draws 3, puts 2 back, and then just draws them right immediately with this Wirewood Symbiote, Elvish Visionary.
I'm surprised he didn't take any damage there. I feel like they're free draws at this point in the game. Riley's not a deck that's going to bolt him out. And
Tundra into Wasteland, I could be worried about. Through the Windswept Heath.
And we have a Jita in play. However, if Riley decides to suit up that Jita, it's not actually going to get counters due to Wirewood Symbiote. So both Wirewood Symbiote and Query Ranger both can only be activated once per turn, but that's once per each person's turn. So you can use it on your turn, recast it, and then use it on your opponent's turn, block bounce. That's right.
Riley has an opportunity to just equip and pass here, and that locks Dan up from attacking.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that at all.
Neither does
Probably
Riley.
avoid, yeah. Riley does have a True Name in his hand, so he's waiting to probably have enough mana to drop that. I also see a Batterskull in his hand, so maybe he's planning on drop that. Yeah, so it looks like Dan's going to fire off the Glimpse of Nature here. He's got quite a few cards to cast. He's got still the Wirewood Symbiote combo, so he's able to generate a ton of mana.
Got Nettle Sentinel. He's got
And
that
I
Wirewood
believe,
Symbiote.
yeah, I believe Dan, the next card on top of his library is a Crater Hoof, so he's going to want to fire that Green Sun off right now. He's got the mana, so he might just Green Sun, where X equals 1 to get Heritage Tree.
Maybe something easy like Birchlow Rangers still would be good here too.
And if he doesn't have the mana potentially for his line, he can also always Green Sun for 0 to get Dryad Arbor. The cool thing about Dryad Arbor as well in this deck is that it is a green creature that you can sack naturally. So,
It's also a forest. It's also a land.
yes.
Is it
Also not a spell.
No, it says right on the card that way.
I've had someone try to counterbalance it, and I felt like that couldn't work, and he said, well, I can't activate top, but I can still do it. And I was like, I don't think so, but let's check. And so we called over a judge, found out how that works.
He can reveal the top card of his deck if he knows it. Not sure.
I don't think you can. It's not a spell, so it doesn't trigger counter.
I mean, you could just reveal additional
Oh yeah,
information if you like.
I feel like that's actually cheating. I don't think you're allowed to just flip over top cards.
Well, if I'm activating my top, and I've got 3 cards in my hand, I can show you one of them.
yes,
That's-
but you can't just show the top card of your deck.
Oh, that's true. So Dan gets, I think, maybe 3 triggers out of his Glimpse of Nature. Declined to use that Green Sun Zenith in lieu of keeping the hoof in his grip.
I think he wants to save the Green Sun Zenith for a potential. If there's a Swords of Plowshares or a Snapcaster Swords of Plowshares out of Riley, he wants to be able to refill whatever gets targeted. Probably the Symbiote,
Yeah.
but it's always good to make sure. There is a Snapcaster Mage in Riley's hand, so it's intelligent line. However, he's got to watch out because in response to a spell, he can activate Querying Ranger. He can add a mana with Deathray Shaman, and then Querying Ranger to untap the Deathray Shaman, and then use that mana to drain the spell. So, even though it looks like Dan's tapped out, he is definitely not tapped out.
Dan actually has no access to black mana right now.
Well, he's got a Deathray Shaman.
There's no lands in the graveyard.
Oh, you're correct.
Yeah, we only see the Swords of Plowshares in the graveyard from Rally's deck. And Dan ate his Cradle last turn in order to cast one of his additional spells.
You're correct. So, Splashback Swords of Plowshares on that Wirewood Symbiote. It's going to resolve, it looks like.
Bumps Dan back up to 17, and here comes the attack.
No activation or anything. He's just going to go ahead and take this.
Dan doesn't mind. He's not exceptionally afraid here.
I do like Dan's dice. They're Munchkin dice.
Oh, that's nice.
They got little munchkins on them.
I see, and they're marginally readable. He's kind of alright.
Yeah, they're definitely readable. They get a little weird, like that 4 that's currently on the Symbiote looks a little strange, but
So we see a Birchlow Rangers and a. Oh, I just forgot. It's hard to play with the top. Was that a Cradle?
yeah, Guy's Cradle, another Green Sun. So
Possibly he can just.
I might take 12 here. I guess you can only take 8. I would take 8 here.
Possible that Dan just cast the Cradle Hoof from his hand this turn.
He's almost there,
Yeah.
especially with the Green Suns in it.
Yeah, he's got the Cradle.
The only thing he's really missing to generate that much mana is Heritage Druid.
That's right. The Birchlow Rangers is a poor substitute.
Yes, it's not as good. It's slightly better if you only have 1 Nettle Sentinel, but when you have enough elves that you can activate it multiple times, you really want the Heritage Druid.
Absolutely. And we see at least 3 on the field now.
So it looks like he decided to take 8. He wanted the 3 cards.
No, I think he put back the extra Green Sun. He
you're
got
correct.
attacked on 13 last
You're
turn.
correct.
Well, and here comes Birchlow Rangers into Guy's Cradle.
However, you always want to activate the Guy's Cradle as late as possible. You want to put as many elves into play.
Yeah.
And so right now he's got 2 mana in the pool. I imagine he's going to be playing Eldritch Visionary, untapping that Nettle Sentinel. And then he's going to tap the Nettle Sentinel and the Eldritch Visionary he just played. Looks like he's not. I thought he was going to Green Sun for 0.
No, he's looking for that Heritage Root, I think. So he's got, well, I don't know how to read an Abacus, but I think he's got to have at least some mana floating. You know, maybe he goes and gets Reclamation Sage.
Ooh, that's very possible.
Reclamation Sage is a powerful addition to this deck. It is an elf. Not a human, but it is an elf. Makes a lot of sense.
Not sure why it's always a little strange to me. I imagine this is going to go after the Battle Skull,
Reasonable.
especially because he drew another Green Sun off the Eldritch Visionary trigger. He'll be able to. Oh, he's going to go for the Jute. I thought he was going to go for the Battle Skull. The Battle Skull is a slightly bigger threat.
But life points don't matter to Dan. He's going to, if he gets to do his thing, he's going to one-shot his opponent from whatever left token it is. It doesn't matter.
It's much more of a plot from the Germ Token than
Sure. But the Jute poses a threat to his existing creatures, which Dan appears to be pretty well invested in keeping around.
I feel like this Green Sun is going to be for 1, get a Wirewood Symbiote. Wirewood Symbiote can refresh that Rex Sage, so maybe he's just going to get both, and it doesn't matter what order he's going for.
Moreover, gives him an extra ability to block the Batter Skull without giving Rally any.
Yes. Yep, so there's a Symbiote. I like his line here.
Definitely. He's still got a Deathrite Shaman, but few juicy targets. Rally doesn't even want to play this game anymore.
Riley knows that the writing's on the wall and he's pretty much dead. And so for you, those of you guys at home that aren't doing anything this weekend and want to watch some sweet, sweet Legacy coverage, we have the event for you.
Boy.
We have a Grand Prix trial this weekend here at Card Kingdom, and we'll be streaming it. It's Legacy.
It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to be going starting at noon PST.
Yep.
It's Pacific Standard Time.
Seattle time, is that what I like to call it? The only time that matters.
I like to list it as Baja California time, but that's because I'm stupid. Who do you think who's going to be in the booth with you?
So I know it's going to be me because I already have my 2 buys.
Well, fair enough. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I got them a while ago playing in a 10-person auto TPT, and actually one of my favorite things to do is hold it over the person that's in the booth with me over their head, because a lot of Legacy players don't have them because they're not willing to denigrate themselves. Is that the word I'm looking for? Denigrate
I think
themselves to
so,
play
yeah.
Modern?
Yeah.
I'm trying to use big words when I'm around you.
Let's don't feel obligated. I think you're pretty smart. You're definitely holding up the color commentary part of this race. Is that what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
I thought it was a Retreat to Coralhelm, but it appears to have been Snapcaster Mages.
I do know that there is one person playing a Retreat to Coralhelm deck here. It's Rob Hunsacker.
Boy, that guy. That's got to be a bad feeling when your opponent kills you with a modern combo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's got Green Sun's in it from True Nemesis.
Oh, well,
At least there's some legacy cards in there.
that could be Rally's core strategy here.
It could be. I feel like that strategy does kill people.
That's a lot of damage.
Green Sun Zenith also makes the deck quite a bit better. So it looks like he's taking out the True Name Nemesis. I don't know if I like that. True Name Nemesis is one of the few cards that can get through a board of anything.
Yeah, that's its core functionality, I think.
And so you suit that up with the GT, and that GT is getting counters.
Right. On the other hand, you can expect Yanlin to be bringing in, like, he already has one tutorable main deck piece of artifact hate. He's got to be bringing in some more.
Yeah, I saw Crossing Grip was the card that he was boarding in.
Yeah, and I like that against these white decks that, against a band looking deck like this, got to be afraid at least cursory of Eidolon of Rhetoric, Rule of Law. There's some way for the band deck to slow the elf deck down. Elf deck really relies on casting a bunch of its spells all in one go.
Things like Canonist, potentially.
Yeah, also good.
That makes a lot of sense.
Especially with, Rise got at least a small artifact set theme, trying to fetch up Jittes, and Canonist might help him get around. But you'd have to build your deck very specifically in order to leverage that advantage.
Yeah, you would need 6 mana and a creature for it to be really relevant.
That'd be pretty cool.
Play Canonist, play GT, suit up, attack you.
Is this good? I'm not sure the Canonist wants to be attacking.
Well, Canonist wouldn't have pace in that situation, so you'd have to have a creature in play to do that. Maybe a Noble Hierarch. I did see one in that game.
That's right.
He drew it late, though, so it wasn't really a window to cast it.
Started on Tundra, found a trap pretty late in the match.
There's some Wastelands as well.
Yeah. Despite Dan running out his turn 2 Guy's Cradle, there was that Sylvan Library that really helped impact that game a little.
Yeah, Sylvan Library is very strong early out of these decks because, as it turns out, card quantity is not very important for elves. It's all about the card quality. You want the combo, you want a Glimpse of Nature, and then eventually a Natural Order.
It looks like both boys going to 6 here.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and ship both of them back. I didn't really see what Dan had. It looked like he had a couple lands. And
Needle and a Decay out of here.
Yeah, Needle and Decay. And
Needle.
This deck wants the hate cards, but it also still wants its engine and then to draw into its hate cards. It has a lot of card draw functionality, and so it doesn't really care that much about having them in the opener.
Despite you can lead with if you can assemble the best friend squad, then you can have a lot of strength in finding the cards you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. However, you don't want to spend your first turn effectively doing nothing.
Definitely don't want to spend your second turn doing nothing.
Yes.
So we see Rally on the play here.
He's got to be looking for Noble Hierarch.
Yeah,
that makes every hand a lot better. Turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Batterskull with Swords and Plowshares is probably the dream.
Yep. Wants to match that acceleration factor from the elf deck if it can.
So this looks like a Stoneforge and Swords, but there's no... Oh, and a Canonist. So
and a Tundra.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Rally's happy to keep this one.
Yeah, got a Canonist in the front as well.
Keeps the scry count 1-1. Yep. Rally declines too. Curious to see what he saw, but...
Ships to the bottom. It might have been another lane. It's a little bit of fun.
I bet Rally's going to kill whatever. Well, I guess not.
I don't know if I'd kill that, actually. He used the Swords on 1 earlier, and I feel like that was incorrect.
Kind of ambitious play.
It looks like he's going to do it again. It's a little bit greedy. You really want to save that for Wild Symbiote. That's like the most important creature to kill.
Yeah, you've got the acceleration has a big target on its hand.
This card is pseudo acceleration.
It kind of counts as a second land drop.
Yes, it's more of a land drop than a ramp.
Yeah. We'll see if Dan wants to. I can't imagine what Dan's doing here. Gonna cast a Void Fate with his no mana.
Yep, that'd be sweet. Time shifted.
Ooh, maybe. I think Dan would. Oh, yeah, you can find it in there. So Rally gonna start us off with the same sequence. Did you? Did you see a Supreme Verdict?
I believe that was Supreme Verdict. It looked like a blue-white card. I thought it was Meddling Mage, but it might be Supreme
You know,
Verdict.
okay.
But now that you said Supreme Verdict, I'm a lot less sure that it's Meddling Mage
Yeah.
because I was just like, oh, it's a blue-white card, must be Meddling Mage, rather than it's a Meddling Mage.
Both pretty reasonable cards in this Elves matchup.
Very good against them. A lot of different targets.
Yeah, especially based on the way that the last match went. Dan just played a guy, played 2 guys, played 3 guys, and then it was over.
And so Dan's going to go ahead and use that ability to replace his land drop. He does not want to expose that guy's field right now, so that's why he's holding it in his hand.
Yeah, daring Riley to blow a wasteland on his value here.
That's what I like to do. That's why I fetch those duels.
Yeah. As if you want to go waste my turn to kill your land, and then the elf deck can it's functionally useless with a ranger on the field.
And furthermore, yeah, there's a ranger.
It's like I'm gonna bet that I'll take the elf deck in the acceleration race anytime.
So that is definitely a Supreme Verdict. And so Riley does have that GT to cheat into play.
He declines to cast the.
I would have played the Canonist, and then next turn you can cheat the GT and suit up.
Yeah,
Or you could just cast the GT.
and then you can attack with the useless reinforcements
Yes.
at that point too.
Absolutely. Attack with the 1-2 rather than the 2-2. 2-2 has bigger stats, so same cost, so Canonist is clearly better.
It's just that simple math right there. We'll
I assume you
see.
would know that.
We'll see if Riley. We'll see if sandbagging the Canonist catches Riley on the bad spot here.
So he's already getting punished for not playing that Canonist. I imagine this is going to be Green Sun. He can go for either a Symbiote here, or he can go for a Nettle Sentinel. I imagine it's going to be a Symbiote.
Makes a lot of
It
sense.
is.
Though this does have the unwanted, or I guess maybe the benefit for Riley of enticing Dan into committing a lot of additional permanents to the board.
Oh, for the Supreme Verdict?
That's right. Yeah, I believe Riley's sitting on a land and
Land number 4, yeah, he is.
has to fetch up a white source with his Winsome Piece in order to cast it. Dan doesn't want to take the bait, then commits a Sylvan Library.
Makes sense. I would play the Sylvan Library here too. Scooz is not great. There's only swords that you can eat up.
Yeah. Want to give Riley an opportunity to use his Snapcaster.
And so he's going to activate that Symbiote, bounce the Visionary back to his hand, which is the card he really cares about.
Yeah. And Dan making a heads up play here, playing around this Wrath.
I think he's just playing the cards the way you mean it to, and then it just ends up that he's just playing around the Wrath. When you play intelligently, sometimes you just play around with the cards.
Yeah.
That's why it's the right line a lot of times.
You might ask, how do you play elves like a pro? You just be a pro and then play elves naturally.
Yeah. Make the right line and then have it be correct every time.
Let's see. Now Riley's in this very awkward spot. He can equip and attack, and that's bad.
It'll get blanked. Or you can Wrath here, and it's still not that great because then you're actually just 2 for 2 in your yourself. And you're passing the tempo. You're losing the tempo by doing that. So I actually really like suiting up Stoneforge, attacking, and then playing Cameras. I think you save on this Wrath until it commits a little bit more to the board. And even though you're going to Wrath your hate pieces, oh, it looks like he's not going to suit them. He's just going to attack for 1.
Looks like he's making the play to destroy the Wirewood Symbiote and the Aquarian Ranger here.
He's saying it's worth it. Well, see, the thing is, it's not going to kill that Queer Ranger. Wired Symbiote bounces an elf.
Bounces the. I assume Dan's going to bounce the Heritage to it.
Okay.
Difficult to say, I guess, in this position.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I think Dan knows. When he sees that Tundra get fetched, he's like, 4 mana, it's got to be a Wrath of God. He's probably not thinking it's
When he sees
Supreme Verdict.
attack with no equip, yeah, that's. I'm seeing the writing on the wall here. Even when Stan does, or even when Riley casts this Wrath, it's gonna resolve.
Yeah, when you're playing the Wrath deck and you're not happy about Wrathing your opponent's board, I just feel like it's not the right time to play the Wrath.
I think you're right. But is Riley gonna find a better time? Dan, his alternative is to. Oh, Dan bounces the Aquarian Ranger. Very interesting. Okay.
If you get something like a Death Ray, it gets a lot more action.
Yeah. Dan sees Abrupt Decay and what I thought was a Nettle Sentinel.
So, like, when I play this deck, I just draw all the time also in my
Yeah.
brain. Like, I just need some of these cards. I don't know which ones, so I'll just take them all. But Dan, he knows which ones he wants and which ones he doesn't.
No reason to commit extra life points if you don't have to.
I don't think that life total is a cost in this one.
Sure. It's possible that, like, Dan can see the match is going to take at least 2-3 more turns, and wants to give himself the ability to draw 2 extra on that final turn. He just wants to put the nail in the coffin for Riley.
Well, I do agree with that. If you don't have a fetch effect, I guess he's got a Consensus on it now, so he does have that fetch effect. Then it doesn't really matter because you'll be looking at that card the next time as well. So by actually activating Sylvan Library more, you're getting deeper into your deck. So it looks like he's going to play Green Ranger and a Nettle Sentinel, and then for 2 Visionaries. He's got 3 creatures in play right now, and he's drawing that Green Sentinel. He hardly doesn't have any mana.
Yeah, use his land art to play the second body.
And that Wrath really didn't do anything to Dan's board.
Yeah, now Riley gets to commit his Canonist and equip it, and I'm still not sure. I'm not convinced that that's good.
No, I don't think it is. Dan has Abrupt Decay in his hand, which is such a clean answer.
Yeah, that's.
It really needs to be a Trinium Nemesis for Riley here, with charge and one that costs 2. That's really what he needs right now. With
Yeah,
haste.
I think he just needs any creature with haste would do it, but I imagine Utabi Drake probably not making a showing in Riley's Fan Mid Range deck.
Does that card have haste?
It has a haste 2/1 for 1 single man.
Oh, wow.
Green 2/1 flyer. Yeah, card's super interesting.
Oh, I was thinking it was the blue creature.
Each player who played a non-artifact spell this turn can't play non-artifact spells.
Yes.
So, despite Riley's weird sequencing, he's not punished by casting the Stoneforge Mystic after the Canonist.
If Canonist is able to look retroactively upon the entire turn, that's why if your opponent plays Show and Tell and you put it in play, they pretty much have to pass.
Yeah.
But it does not count artifact spells. So.
Dan looking at a land, or a pair of lands and a spell, and looks like he'll keep just one. Looking at another Miri's Gal for his turn.
Makes sense. He didn't want the card the first time. I imagine he doesn't want it the second time. I think it was a fetch land was the card he's ignoring.
Possible he wants to keep the fetch here so that he can have a shuffle for his Sylvan Library next turn.
Another fetch, yeah.
Yeah, but just as likely that Dan's going to cast that Green Sun Zenith that he peeled off that Elvish Visionary last
Yeah,
turn.
go get a Rex Sage, blow up that Canonist. Probably cast one more thing.
Yeah, he might wait till Riley's end step to blow the Abrupt Decay. Like Dan just plays, he might use the Rex Sage, might fetch up a Rex Sage to kill the Jitte. Then in Riley's end step, once he's wasted a turn doing Bant stuff, gets to get his extra spells back.
Okay. I like that. So I think what he wants to do is he actually wants to attack with...
Oh,
Looks like we might both be wrong.
oh, okay, just spell go. That's also
Grand
fine.
Ranger. I'm surprised he didn't attack and then play it. It gets untapped.
He's looking to reset his Bayou after the combat.
Yeah.
So this, the order actually not super relevant here. Dan declines to use his Bayou. Maybe he wants to have extra force on the field.
Yeah. I think that's what it's coming down to right now.
Maybe he's worried about losing access to green.
Maybe he's thinking that if I get wasted here, the waste is going to my Gaia's Cradle. So my opponent's probably going to see that line and waste the Gaia's Cradle first. It changes when when Dan hasn't shown Gaia's Cradle and it's still floating in his hand, like it was for a couple turns before.
Right.
But now that it's in play, Riley knows about it.
No secrets for the Elves player here, except for the decay. That's going to be pretty good.
So we're going to see the suit.
Yeah.
And it's on Jitte, so if the Abrupt Decay wants to get rid of the Jitte, he's got to do it now, and the Cannon stays in play.
Dan gets to eat the Stoneforge Mystic with his untapped Little Sun. Maybe that's why he didn't want to untap. Didn't want to use his new Ranger's ability to bounce the Bayou.
That's why I was thinking if he attacked first and then played the Korean Ranger, he'd get the free untap just from casting a green spell. But it looks like Daniel wanted to kind of bait him a little bit and say I have a tap Nettle Sentinel.
What you want to do here?
Riley played into that just a little bit. I feel like Riley attacks there pretty much regardless if the Nettle Sentinel is untapped or not.
Maybe Dan's trying to gain an additional percentage point, maybe a little bit extra value for Riley to equip the Jitte to the Canonist, and then attack into the board of 2/2s. Play would have been way worse for Riley in that case.
Yes.
But still, you want to give your opponent just enough rope to hang himself with. All right, here comes the play of Stone Swordfire. Nice.
Another artifact spell.
Yeah.
But Riley just doesn't have the mana to optimize around that Canonist. He does not have the deck quite like that.
Not just yet.
So the Symbiote and the Glimpse of Nature are on top of Dan here.
Joined by Wooded for this. Think this might be the turn for Dan to take 8.
Yeah, I feel like it's always a turn for Dan to take 8, so this one just as much as the previous ones.
He's wanting to. I see him wanting to.
Because he hasn't played a land yet this turn, so maybe he wants to avoid on the land. He can use one of those Korean Rangers to counter for his land drop.
Yeah.
It looks like he's just going to take 4. So.
Safe play from the Elves player. Maybe he's hamming it up so we can have additional matchup camera. Where is the 9? Daniel asks.
Well, it's a spin down.
Oh, there. No, it's right next to the 10. Oh, he was at 11. Oh, he started with 10.
Yeah, he's at 15. I wasn't sure. It's spun a lot, so I wasn't sure exactly what started.
I'm curious to know if Dan ever wants to use his fetch land to find a Dryad Arbor, then use Korean Ranger's ability to bounce that Dryad Arbor to mitigate the effect of, to get an enhanced chump block on the Canonist.
I've definitely seen that happen a lot. So.
Got, looks like Dan's tapping out to cast this Green Sun Zenith.
That's happened for 4, so I imagine that's going to get now 3 drop, which is going to be Rex Sage. Rex Sage, that Canonist, and then he's got 2, potentially 3 mana on tap to do anything else.
If he finds Elvish Visionary, is that lethal? No.
I don't believe it's lethal.
That's
You
a
can't
shame.
cast another spell.
Oh, sure. Well, Elvish Champion would be.
Oh, right, because there's Force on Riley's side of the board.
Yeah, interesting. Always looking. Always
I don't know if the Legacy version plays Elvish Champion.
And the additional Lord matters a lot. Oh, here comes combat. That's 5.
This is quite a bit, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 from the. That's 5 altogether. Down to 11, and I imagine Dan's probably just going to pass the turn here.
Argument for playing the Wireless Symbiote, but doesn't want to play into land Snapcaster Flashback the Wrath of God.
Oh, that'd be very good.
Yeah. It's a not a ton of advantage to be gained here, but anyway, Riley declines to make that play. Finds his own elf in the form of Noble Hierarch. Reasonable. Suits it up and passes back. Dan has to be just drawing any 4 cards at this point.
Yeah. Or just 1. This is
Yeah.
the one you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is Gamma.
Yeah, Riley's got a single card in hand.
No Force Will. Deck
Yeah.
doesn't have Fluster Storm. Oh, Dan is going to bait out the counter spell though. Glimpse of Nature. That's what actually Dan has told me. Dan told me that this deck plays Glimpse of Nature mainly to bait out counter spells, and you should actually almost never counter the Glimpse of Nature. You usually want to be going for either the Green Sun Zenith, the Wirewood Symbiote, Elvish Visionary, or Natural Order.
Now, see, it's totally not obvious that Elvish Visionary is the linchpin this deck hinges on. But there it is.
The reason why is because you can't ever kill the Elvish Visionary. There's never a window.
Sure.
There's Wirewood Symbiote. It's just so hard to answer.
Yeah, Dan using Dryad Arbor for its preferred method here. Just creature
Sacking to
sacrifice.
make a huge Crater Hoof, and then getting in for a Trillion.
And there it is. Well, we see our Elves player taking the match down 2-0 over Riley Klingler. See the strength of
Strength of the Forest.
the heart of
Yeah, the Heart of the Forest. Dark Heart of the Forest. With a green black deck.
there it is.
Dark Heart of the Woods? Is it Dark Heart of the Woods or Dark Heart of the Forest?
It's Dark Heart of the Wood is the card you're thinking of. Dark Heart of the Wood, a lesser known dark uncommon. Let's use
It's also a
our
Ravnica. What is it? Ravnica. Recreated Ravnica, which I thought was really cool.
the Golgari enchantment. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely. So that was round 2. We have 1 minute left, so we're going to try and get another match on camera. We'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the booth, guys. So we got another match set up for you. I know that we have someone playing Learn, which is, a favorite deck of mine. I don't know what his opponent is playing.
His opponent's on Bug Delver.
Bug Delver.
And is on the play for this third game in the match.
Okay, so we're going to head down to the match now. It's game 3. There's about 25 minutes left in the round. And we'll see what's going on down here.
Absolutely. Players just trying their opening hands.
Yep. I really like that playmat, the Neon Cat. It's very bright.
It's a little noisy, but I can respect your liking. It's very I'm not really into things that are very internet. Does that make sense?
Yes, I am. So
you are a denizen of the internet.
yes, I'm a fellow of the internet.
So it's like our Bug Delver player on 3 ponders, and
I think just one land, so
one
he's
Delta.
hoping one of those finds another one.
yeah, I think I saw Polluted Delta. Matt fanned out a hand with an Abrupt Decay and a bunch of garbage.
Yep. There's a lot of garbage in this deck, I will agree with that. But
You've got,
there's a lot of synergy too.
You got 3 mana 1/1s. You got 2 mana 2/1 flyers.
Yep, those guys are good.
Yeah. I
We
wish
got 2 mana 1/1 flyers. The draw card.
I wish that deck could play more than one Cavern Harper. It's so fantastic. See a Brainstorm, 4 lands, and a Recruiter. Matt's gonna very graciously keep that one. Passes another land to the bottom. Looks like a basic island, I thought. He's got a Ponder instead of that 4th land. That's pretty good.
Ponder's actually very good. Yes, please. Go ahead and start. Didn't tell him to start, but they know now. So Scout's gonna start off with a fetch. I imagine he's just gonna play a Delver here.
Yeah, I guess there's an argument for casting the Ponder. But it's.
I like playing the Delver because on turn 2 you can ponder, and then if you find a fetch land, you get to play the fetch land and crack it and play another ponder.
Yeah, I see some Grixis cards out of here. I saw Volcanic and Volt. Maybe I have the meta result now.
It's quite. There's so many Delver decks, and when you're just running by, writing them down on a piece of paper, sometimes you get the wrong one. But it's a Delver deck. They're all relatively similar. Rug Delver is very different, but Underground Sea is not Rug Delver. So he's going to follow my line, the optimal line, and play Delver on turn 1.
I like getting cute, trying to find a way to interact with. So I think a way that you can attack this Learn deck, you can either go early and try to disrupt their mana production, or have access to maybe a Daze out of this Grixis Delver deck.
Yeah, if you ponder them, the only card you're really looking for is Daze, and you don't really want Daze, you want more land right now, so it kind of puts you in an awkward situation. I think it's better to put your threat on the table,
Makes sense.
give it as many turns as possible to flip, and if you get a blind flip here, you're in really good shape.
Definitely. You open up a lot of your deck to being good draws here. Either a land or a non-creature spell. Both pretty good here. Gives him maybe, gotta be at most 10 bricks.
Yeah. 3 Delvers, probably 1 or 2 more True Name Nemesis, and then
Maybe Pyromancer out of this stuff.
Pyromancer and Good Night Anglers, I guess.
A big Angela.
Oh, it's Bug, so maybe Tarmogoyf as well.
Oh, sure, makes sense. Let's see a True Name in his hands.
And
Let's see how Scott does.
Looks like we got it. It's a lightning.
And it's a dual deck, or it's a premium deck
Yeah,
series.
the premium foil one. At least it's foil.
That is
I like that art of the new Bolt a lot too, and that also gets me a lot of flack. We're
I-
going to see a ponder here. So he's looking for a land. I imagine he's going to shuffle if he doesn't find a land on top. So he sees a tropical, he sees a wasteland, and he sees a daze. So those are 3 cards he really wants. I could definitely see him making a couple different lines here. He looks like he's just going to play the trop and pass. I could see him play the trop and then ponder again. But he decides that he wants to draw the wasteland and then draw the daze the turn after. And I feel like maybe you should have put those in the other order. Matt, however, is going to take this window. He's going to cast a Brainstorm with the fetch and play. And he's going to hit a Witness, a Recruiter, and I believe that is a... I can't tell what the third card is.
It's a Scavenging Goose.
Scavenging Goose, thank you.
Definitely.
It's always hard when people have one foil card.
Just one.
Is that an altered Abrupt
I
Decay?
think it is an extended or Abrupt Decay.
It looks very cool.
Matt declining to keep his awkward 3-drops in the form of significantly more efficient 2-drops.
Makes sense.
Playing like a normal bug deck, at least in this position.
This deck can operate very well as a bug deck, and then can kind of turn the corner whenever it wants to and become a combo deck.
Sure.
End step, it looks like nothing. On upkeep, though, Matt's going to intelligently fetch, so if Scott tries to stifle this...
Not out of the question for a 4-color deck like this.
Yeah, he'll have to at least be punished on his own turn and not at the end of Matt's turn when he's untapped.
Yeah, Scott even tried to bait out the end step, play a spell. So, but
Tap my land, float a blue. Alright, go to my turn. And Matt's going to play around Wasteland here, so he's going to fetch another basic.
yeah, the access to different colors, not a huge concern for him now. He just wants to get to 3 mana.
And so we're going to see a Ponder here from Scott. So there is a Daze on top of his library, and then 2 cards that we have. It looks like it's going to be a Force of Will and a Fetch. So
Force of Will pretty good here.
probably keep the cards in the order they're in right now. I could see putting the Daze on top, but I don't think you gain a whole lot.
I'll take the Force, no problem, and I will be very happy to counter the first thing Matt plays on his turn.
Yep, makes sense. When your opponent hasn't done anything and you're attacking with Delver, sometimes you just want to keep that going around as long as possible.
Whatever you're trying to do, I'm not into that. I want to keep doing my thing.
I want you to do nothing and me to attack you with Delver. It looks like the Delver's turning sideways.
Drop him at 13. Scott, maybe 4 turns left before that Delver just kills him outright.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if Matt can't find one of his Baleful Strikes. Pretty good answer to Delver in this position.
There's a Shardless Agent.
That one's pretty good.
I do love me some Shardless Agent. And I like how Scott holds on to the Wasteland here. He doesn't want to reveal the fact that he has it.
Yeah. Matt's kind of obligated to play the 3rd land no matter what.
And it looks like Matt's just going to pass the turn. I'm surprised he didn't just cast the Shardless there.
He's looking to play this Abrupt Decay.
Okay, I can see that. And we're going to see the Abrupt Decay on the drop. In response, I'm going to go ahead and Abrupt Decay that bad boy.
Yep. Got Divert now? Probably not here.
Doesn't matter.
Not good here.
So he's got another Abrupt Decay in his hand.
Yeah, we'll see if Scott has a follow-up to his Wasteland here.
I believe he's got a fetch land. So I probably would just crack the fetch, play Trinity.
Oh, he played the Wasteland this turn.
Oh, you're right. If he had played the Wasteland last turn, he could follow that one. You're correct.
Yeah, the sequence ended up turning out pretty well for Matt here. Matt's pretty good game sense. Declines to play the Shardless Agent just for a random card. And
Maybe
wants
he's playing around the Divert.
reasonable. It's a pretty powerful card.
If he cascades into Divert, the Abrupt Decay cannot target the Shardless because the Abrupt Decay will resolve first. But it's important to think about.
Yes.
And so Death Ray Charm is the draw for Matt here.
Very good here, especially with the fetch land that he's got.
I imagine he's going to crack this fetch, see if it resolves. I imagine it is. We didn't see a Scythe on the last fetch. And this is going to be a green fetch, so we can actually get a basic here and still be protected from all his wastes.
He's assembled the trifecta, Guru lands.
Yeah, Guru Land Trifecta. I really like the arts. Big fan.
Absolutely.
I can tell they're expensive.
The original Judge Files. We'll see what this Cascade turns up for Matt. Matt's
There's a Baleful Strikes. There's a good one.
That's not bad.
Real good versus Tarmogoyf, real good versus Delver. Also real good versus decks like Miracles, because it's just a threat that draws a card.
Yeah, it's simple as that. Replaces itself. Scott declines to cut from the Shuffle and Cascade.
Makes sense.
Matt draws his last card that he cannot cast. Kind of unfortunate, but he's just looking to play it, win the game with it immediately.
Yeah. There are matchups where you try and do kind of the fair strategy with Recruiter and recruit for creatures to grind. Like against Miracles, a lot of times you'll just recruit for all your recruiters because you don't care how many you put in play. Because if you put 3 in play in the tournament, you're like, all right, play a Recruiter, go get a Recruiter.
It's like a very, very expensive squadron.
Yes.
That doesn't fly.
Yes. However, it does have the added benefit of being an infinite combo. Half an infinite combo.
Yes. Squadron Hawk was really only good at pecking for 1 and holding swords.
Yeah, it was very good at brainstorming back to Jace.
That was such a weird standard for him.
That was a combo, but it was less powerful than the Recruiter plus another. And so there's another part of the combo.
Yeah.
I don't know where exactly the line is drawn on what's in the combo and what's not. I have won 3 different games by casting Parasitic Strix to drain my opponent for 2 and have that be lethal. It was my favorite way to win the fair matchup, is saying, you know what, I actually am playing a combo.
Sylvan Library.
And that's a really powerful one. I imagine this is going to get countered. So we got a Spell Pierce on the Sylvan Library, which makes sense. Scott does not want that to resolve.
Yeah, he's still sitting on a pair of forces and his Trinity Nemesis. Wondering when he's going to deploy that 3-power threat.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't yet. The problem that a lot of decks have is they're like, okay, I need to keep all these counter spells up for the combo. Yeah. And then Aloran's like, yeah, well, I'm going to play Shardless Agents. Baleful Strix.
How do you feel about this 2-2? How about a separate 2-2?
How about a flying 1-1?
Matt looks like he's running us a note. Who is the Trinity Nemesis targeting?
Yeah, I imagine. So I call that card a U-Name Nemesis. That way I can't forget to name someone, because I have done that before. I have not announced my true name Nemesis comes into play effect. Not
Fair.
comes into play, but as it comes into play effect.
Yeah, it's a come into play effect.
Well, it's not when it comes into play, otherwise it'd be very bad. Can you get a window to kill it?
Yeah, reasonable. I think I would like that card more a little bit, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it opens up a little bit of counterplay.
I think that if that was the case, True Name Nemesis would be unplayable.
Straight unplayable.
Yes. I think 3 mana for a 3/1.
They can only bolt it in response.
Yes, that they can only bolt it right when it comes into play. It's not good enough. Because there's also swords, GT eats it as well. There's so many ways, yeah.
Scavenging Ooze, good play for Matt here.
And Scott's thinking about forcing this, and this is what this deck does so well. It just
How about this 2-2?
Yeah.
How about this 2-2?
Eventually, it's going to start grinding card advantage. And what's cool is he's also got a Deathrite Shaman in his hand, and so he can next turn, or this turn he can play Deathrite, and next turn he can play that Recruiter potentially for another Recruiter.
Yeah.
Or he can choose not to.
Play the Parasitic Strix for value.
It's a little scary to play the Parasitic Strix for value than the Cavern Harpy for value, because Cavern Harpy protects itself, so if your opponent kills it, you can bounce it back to your hand.
And with having cast the Parasitic Strix, you've got to find like an Eternal Witness or some other way to interact.
And when you go off, you can definitely do that, but if it gets Swords to Plowshares or something like that, it gets a little bit weird.
A lot of extra. We see a Tarmogoyf here that's got to be a creature, instant, sorcery, land.
We also have an enchantment, the Sylvan Library.
So that's
Or do we also have an artifact? Is there a Shardless Agent in the graveyard, maybe?
no, it's the Baleful Strix.
Right. Good call.
So that's a mighty Tarmogoyf.
And that's really wishing he had that Baleful Strix right now.
Absolutely. Block that Tarmogoyf, no problem. Yeah. The Deathrite Shaman gonna gain that 3 life on this next attack should he decide to. Oh, hey, there's a Cavern Harpy.
And so, Cavern Harpy, when it comes into play, you have to return a blue or black creature. It's a gate. So what you do a lot of time is you gate a Shardless Agent, recast Shardless Agent, get a free Cascade. Looks like he's going to swing it. I think he just said he's passing. I don't like passing here. I like playing Cavern Harpy.
He wants to leave. It does accelerate the clock, but Matt wants to leave himself the ability to get the Baleful Strix out of his graveyard. I think
There's no Tarmogoyf in play right now,
Not sure.
so I don't think he's too worried about shrinking a Tarmogoyf at instant speed.
Look, here it is. He's going for the one-shot next turn.
Okay, so it looks like he's going to drain for 2.
Matt's going to combo his opponent out the slow way by paying 5 for each iteration of the loop.
Yes. And so, Parasitic Strix, when it comes into play, if you control a black permanent, aka Deathrite Shaman, drain your opponent for 2. So they lose 2, you gain 2.
And the life gain, not insignificant.
He has at 9, so that's number divisible by 3, so that Trinium Nemesis is going to now take 1 more turn to get a kill.
Plus, with that Deathrite Shaman, there's Boku creatures in the graveyard now.
Yeah, there's a lot of creatures.
Oh, Submerge.
It's a powerful one.
That is. Scott really required to attack here. There's
Does not do a lot of blocking in this game.
he can make a slightly advantageous trade by killing a Shardless Agent, but at what cost? He wants to wrap the game up as fast as possible.
I imagine that if Scott doesn't attack, those Shardless Agents don't attack either.
Fair enough. Matt, draws on learn. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, Scott does have 2 cards in hand, and I don't like playing a learn unless I know it's going to win me the game.
Sure.
And so I would actually refrain from casting it until I know I need to. And when you're at 8, you don't need to yet.
Definitely not.
You don't even need to next turn. You can do it the turn after.
Matt's just going to cast his Cavern Harpy.
I imagine he's going to go Cavern Harpy, bounce either Parasitic Strix or Shardless Agent, recast.
Yeah, there's an argument for... Oh, the Submerge right off the spot.
So now that Scott only has 1 card in hand, there's a window. I would go for it here.
Same.
Spell Pierce is the only card you're worried about.
And Matt can just barely not pay for it. Let's see if the Allure gives him the one-shot.
Daze is enough. Daze is not enough.
Because of the Deathrite Shaman.
Daze is okay for your opponent, for Scott to have for Matt, and so that's why Matt's going for it. There's only 1 card that actually interacts in the Spell Pierce.
And even if he counters it, he falls to 5 in this next combat, and gets to do the whole thing.
And there's the Recruiter. And so how this combo works is Recruiter triggers can go get a Recruiter. Usually you end up, I always like getting 3 Recruiters into play and keeping 1 in the deck just in case I need it. As the deck has a lot of ways to get into the deck. Some people disagree and like putting all of them into play. Sure.
I like protection against Terminus, a good reason that you said.
But then again, they're still in the deck, so it doesn't have to change all that much.
Right. Yeah, Matt's gonna play it tight, just in case he doesn't know what Scott could have.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
So what a lot of people like doing is they like getting all the cards in the front and then saying, okay, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do this one, and then not shuffling between each iteration, which I've never had an opponent say that's not okay.
I'm also totally fine with that. I would...
If my opponent would, I would call a judge, have you come over and explain that, yes, that's fine.
If you ever played a Mind's Desire deck, Mind's Desire says shuffle your deck, reveal a top card, you may cast it for free the rest of the turn. If you shuffle in between each iteration, it also has Storm, sorry, that's an important part. If you shuffle between each iteration of the Mind's Desire, I would be irate.
Yes, I have seen quite a few people do this in extended way back in the day,
Yeah.
but they would cut their opponent's deck in between each iteration. So rather than it being completely in order, there is still some randomization to it.
Nice and fast, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's still quick enough. And so that Eternal, he's now got Eternal Witness in the mix to get that Parasitic Strix back. Well, I guess Parasitic Strix was on top of his library, right?
Yeah, now he's gonna...
How did that even happen?
I'm sure Scott has sighed exasperatedly.
Oh, an aggressive sigh.
I bet that...
I do like killing people with infinite combos, and they don't like getting killed with me.
It's not any fun for anybody, I think. Well, yeah, looks like Matt's just trying to style on his opponent now.
Yeah, I mean,
using this activated ability of Cavern Harpy paying 1 life to return to his hand, using that ability to reset the Dreamstalker, which lets you reset any creature, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And
Change infinitely. And now he's got the infinite combo in play. Drain you for 2. I'm gonna do it again. I'll drain you for another 2. I'll do it again.
And I think we'll see the standard form here. Matt will.
Yeah, so traditionally you cast the Cavern Harpy with the bounce trigger on the stack, you question Parasitic Strix. It forces your opponent to have 1 more piece of interaction.
Similar to how you always want to activate your Stoneforge drop equipment ability in response to, or you want to go pay 3 to bounce Spider Skull, pay 2 to drop an equipment with Stoneforge Mystic, and put them in whichever order makes sense.
Activate Stoneforge, maintain priority, activate bounce Skull.
So Matt's gonna take that game, or take his 3rd game in the match, bringing it down 2-1. See yet another Allurant success on camera. We'll head back to the booth. We look like we've got about 2 minutes left on the clock. Not a lot of time, but we'll see if we can't maybe find something interesting. Here we come back on up.
All right, welcome back to the booth, guys. So that was round 3, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that was round 3. So we have 1 more round after this. There's only about 2 minutes left in the round, so I don't think we're going to get anything else on camera. But we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned for round 4. Welcome back to the booth, guys. I'm Josh Modes. This is Casey Hogan, and we got round 4 coming at you. We're going to head down to the booth now, and so we have, I believe it is Lands versus Merfolk.
I believe that's correct.
These are both 9-pointers. So,
Undefeated players throughout the evening.
yeah, and they're playing for the final undefeated.
That's correct,
I
yeah.
believe there's potentially 2 undefeateds. I think there's one person that got a pair down.
Yeah.
Usually some people draw those, so we're never really sure what's going on.
But these gentlemen came to do battle, try to get reps in for the Grand Prix.
Absolutely.
Everybody, all 66 of the players, 67 I think we had after the late
somebody
edition.
come in? Oh.
I think we had a late edition. And, you know, we can count us. That's good, too. All of us getting ready to support our city at the Grand Prix.
I played on camera, so at least that counts for something,
Yeah,
right?
definitely counts. And I didn't do anything.
Did you commentate that round?
I did do that.
At least you did something. That's all that really matters.
Oh, players aren't tied 1-1 though.
Oh yeah, if I did not update that. That's my fault. I will blame myself on that one. Did not update the scene. So yeah, we've got lands on the right side here versus Merfolk, and I'm actually not really sure how these decks match up. Merfolk has a lot of wasteland effects, which can be really powerful against land strategies. You can get rid of Thespian Stage Dark Depths combo as long as you have a fast clock to back it up. And also having cards like Aether Vial is really good versus land strategies because you get a lot of turns of being able to use it before. Normally you kind of just get wasted out of the game and port it out of the game, but being able to cheat in a lot of turns can be very helpful.
Yeah, unlike the Goblin deck we got to see in the first round, the Merfolk deck sacrifices ports in favor of just more basic lands.
Yes, and manlands. They have mutants as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They have a lot of lords, so having more Merfolk is very important for them.
Sure. They can afford to lose the mana disruption, gain some additional damage.
Yeah, they're usually much faster, a little bit less resilient. They also have counter magic, which that helps a ton in interaction.
Definitely.
Because goblins has to be like, well, I hope I can make it so you can't cast whatever you're trying to cast. Merfolk says if you try and cast it, I'll counter it.
That's right.
I don't know if this Merfolk deck runs runs Force of or runs Daze or Standstill. I've seen some that do, most that don't. It's kind of out of favor nowadays, but
It's another old school. Maybe we've seen another time warp.
yes. You never know how far back you're going to go.
You know, it's always opening up on your 7 is always a rare treat here. So we see the lands player has what I think to be 6 lands and a diamond. That's really something.
It's a lot of mana. It looks like he kept it too. He's like, yeah, I'm good with this.
Whatever.
And then Merfolk looks like he's going to start out with Cavernous Souls on
Days behind it, a little awkward.
little awkward. I imagine this is going to be a Curse Catcher, and probably Willie's just going to go ahead and say, I'm going to waste your land and then pass. Waste your land and then play Mox Diamond and then pass.
Try to bin this second Tranquil Thicket we've seen on camera today. Or, well, I suppose it's the 5th.
You might hold on to the Tranquil Thicket. I think you might get rid of the Fetch Land.
That makes sense.
I think you want both Wastelands. I think you want Punishing or Grove of the Burning Willows.
Yeah, no reason to expose yourself to an errant stifled. Who knows? Out of a blue deck like this.
So he's going to play Mox Diamond. Discard is that a fetch?
Might be Bajuka Bog.
It is Bajuka Bog.
That's a good one to discard.
Yes.
Merfolk
Very
decks,
relevant here.
not well known for their.
That's a Tabernacle. I thought it was a Rishadan port.
Those are different. Yeah.
Very powerful land there. I don't think Jack has another land in his hand. Oh, now he does.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, especially with the additional wasteland in Willie's hand.
Yeah. Basic Land Island is exactly what he wanted to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I imagine he's going to play that, play another Curse Catcher.
Where's that island from? Is that one of the new Zendikar lands?
I believe that's a BFZ full-out land, and it's going to be a second Curse Catcher. So Willie actually might just play, what do you call it, Tabernacle here.
I think that's going to go 1 for 1.
When Tabernacle kills a creature and then sits in play, you're in really good shape.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jack hoping to gain an accelerated clock out of the Jitte in his hand. Although, not sure how that's going to work. Oh, no.
There's Tabernacle.
Yeah, that's gives each creature an additional upkeep cost of 1 mana. Or
So who controls that trigger?
It's nuanced. There are a few effects that have things like this, but the land gives each creature that ability.
Okay, so Jack controls his.
Yeah.
So Casey's going to head out of the booth really quick. There was a judge calling another match, so you'll just have to listen to sweet tones of my voice for a little bit. So what it sounds like is Tabernacle gives each creature that trigger, so Jack's creatures will have his trigger, Willie's creatures will have his triggers.
You know, funny enough, I walked up to the match and said the exact thing that I said right to you guys. It gives your creature the ability, and he's asking whose triggers it to remember.
Because it matters, right? It can come up. I imagine at this level, nobody's going to forget, or if they do, it'll be gently reminded.
Well, the trigger gives the controller a default action. So if you don't make the payment, it is assumed that you have made the default action.
Oh.
So in this case, we'd retroactively make you
sacrifice.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
And it's worked like that for a long time. Mastercore is, I think,
the default. Yeah.
So one of the Curse Catchers survives the upkeep. plays a Mutavault, passes back.
And so there's a pretty good draw for Willie there. It's a mana bond, so he's going to be able to dump his entire hand here. He's going to waste that Mutavault. I don't know if you really need to do this now. I guess you may as well.
That's not sporting.
Waste too much. Play mana bond. How do you feel? Is this good? I'm going to read this one too. It looks like he's got, what is it? Life from the Loam and Dark Depths, I believe?
We'll see the depths. The mana bond hits the field. We'll see if Willie decides to use the ability.
Looks like he's just going to go ahead and slow pass. I actually really like fast passing here, using the ability, because when you discard Life from the Loam and Dredge 3, you get more relevant targets in your graveyard that you can loam back this turn and the next turn drop.
Willie's graveyard's pretty well stacked here. He's got 2 Wastelands and a Grove, I can imagine. In addition to that Tranquil Thicket we saw earlier. Here comes another Exploration. Looks like Willie's going to blow the Life from the Loam here. See how Jack wants to react to that. He's targeting all 3 of the things. Jack going to bin his Curse Catcher to slow down Willie's acceleration here. Doesn't want to give him additional lands while he's got that mana bond out of the field. So we see Jack draw and pass, unfortunate. Willie's going to dredge his Life from the Loam. Don't look like, I saw Maze of It, but no additional mana producing lands. That's a little concern to Willie, though. He's just going to play that Life from the Loam right back again.
He has mana producing lands in his graveyard.
That's right.
This might get countered, but I'm always okay if my Life from the Loam gets countered.
Agreed. Oh.
Getting a little slidey there.
The Hand of Cornejo.
You're going to see that Daze on the Life from the Loam, and
Jack with no permanence now. Unfortunate.
a little awkward. And what, is that an Exploration?
I believe it's the Conspiracy Exploration.
Okay. I like that art a lot.
Well, here comes that basic island one more time. Jack really looking for a second basic island and fast so that he can stop Willie from doing annoying things.
And there's a Punishing Fire and a second Grove, so basically every single one of these Life from the Loams needs to get countered.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty awkward because Jack doesn't get an opportunity to play a land unless if he's dazing every single turn.
Correct. He's still waiting for a second land just to have access to, so he doesn't mind dazing here.
Yeah. And Willie doesn't mind either because he's not really losing anything.
Exactly.
There's a Mutavault.
Well, it's pretty awkward. Does not cast the what I think are 3 lords in Jack's hand.
3 double blue lords.
Not very good here. Schadenport and another Wasteland. Yeah, let's see about this third Life from the Loam.
Loam number 3, how do you feel?
I'm liking the chances here.
It gets better every time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we see, I think there's a Wasteland, a Grove, and a Tranquil Thicket. Makes sense. Want to reset that Life from the Loam.
So what I might do here is play the Grove, give my opponent a life, cycle the Tranquil Thicket, replace with Life from the Loam, and then activate Mana Bond and pitch my hand.
Yes, that sounds pretty good.
Because I don't really want to play the Tranquil Thicket, I don't really want it in my hand when I activate Mana Bond.
Yeah, you'll have to, if you want to gain advantage out of having that cycling land, you'd have to play a Wasteland and then waste itself.
Yeah. And it's a little slow, a little grindy, not really worth it either. It's a lot easier to just give your opponent a life, cycle that, and get back Loam. And honestly, I just want to be activating Loam, I just want to be dredging as many times as possible. And it looks like he decided to just regular draw.
Interesting. I'm hoping to find another land to dump with the Mana Bond.
Makes sense. Instead he hit a Punishing Fire, which is, that's fine too.
Yeah, that card might as well play from the graveyard as well.
Yeah. That's the thing. These decks are built so that the cards you hit are ones that are okay putting in your graveyard.
Yeah. It's uniquely Exploration or Gamble that work poorly in the graveyard.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Gamble is really only there to get Life from the Loam into your hand or your graveyard.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I'll put it in the graveyard, no problem. I'll draw an extra 3 cards with the next turn.
So we do draw a Silvergill Adept, and he has a second one in his hand. I actually like revealing my other Silvergill Adept there because he might not draw a way to cast this Lord here.
Yeah. It incentivizes Willie to blow his Wasteland on a...
Mutavault?
I guess it doesn't. It's not like Willie's going to not cast it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Jack actually draws an Aether Vial here. It's a little bit late, but we'll have to see if it does enough. Getting through that Tabernacle is going to be real hard for him. Yeah. Now that there's some mazes as well, I don't actually know if there's really any way for him to get out of this match.
Yeah, Jack looks like he might be just playing it out, see if there is a sequence that his deck wants to hand him that lets him get back into the game.
These prison-style decks are very good at dealing with creatures when they get to this point in the game. It's very hard to get around them. It's a lot easier to kill them early. There's not a lot of interaction early.
Absolutely, yeah. Taking that mulligan, not leading with a vial. Getting his Cavernous Souls wastelanded.
Yeah, also that Tabernacle is very big.
Yeah, even that it was just a 1-for-1, it still hamstrung Jack's development early in the game. With that Jitte, he might have been able to to close the game with the extra 4 damage per turn.
Yep.
But doesn't look like that's going to be the case here.
So Mana Bond Trigger going to put these lands in. I like how he chooses which land he wants to play. There's a Rishadan port, so that's going to stop Jack from being able to add mana with that. However, what's going to happen is upkeep. Looks like he might miss that.
I don't think he wanted to pay anyway.
Yeah.
Puts it in the graveyard. Drops that Violet anyway. He doesn't want to run the risk of not drawing a land and having a useless 2/1 on the field, especially with that Maze of Without on Willie's side. Willie doesn't even want to port his island.
Yeah. Usually what you do is you wait for the Tabernacle trigger to resolve, then pay, and then tap an untapped land. You don't want to do it in response to the Tabernacle trigger, otherwise your opponent can flood that mana and use it.
That's right.
So there's a couple more mana producing lands and a Dark Depths.
Yep. Second Dark Depths for Willie here. Wonder if he's going to start paying 3. Just,
Remove guessing. I think he hit a Thespian stage as well, didn't he?
Oh, that would be a little faster. That's a different way to pay 3. But still just as good.
It's 2 and tap, right? So 3 mana altogether.
Yeah, 2 and tap.
I can never remember if it's 2 and tap or 3 and tap. So it looks like he's getting back that Thespian stage.
Yeah. Finds another Maze of Without and a Taiga as well. Let's see if
Play my land for the turn. Trigger Mana Bomb.
reasonable. Yes, I like it.
Up there.
Second Maze. Here comes the Taiga.
And lands are just exploding onto the board here, doing exactly what it's trying to do. We're going to see an upkeep. I'm going to port you.
Reasonable. Jack floats a blue.
I'm going to go ahead and put a counter on that Vial, though. I don't know
blue
if
mana
he's...
into the counter.
Yeah. If only Aether Vial also had X, put X counters on it.
That
Really awesome.
would be something.
Yeah.
Willie gonna make a 20/20.
Yep.
Awkwardly not lethal at this moment.
Oh, interesting, because of the gain land from Punishing Fire.
That's right.
And Grub the Burning World. However, he is able to buy back Punishing Fire and cast it.
That'll make it exactly lethal there.
He does actually have lethal here on combat.
Yeah. We'll see if later on down the road, Willie is mindful of potential submerges from the Merfolk player.
Oh, yeah. And maybe tries to not have a mountain or an island, a forest to play.
That's right. Yeah. In this case, it'd be pretty easy. He just
wastes his own Taiga.
But basic force in that case would have been kind of unfortunate.
And also, one thing to note, Tabernacle gives the creature not sacrifice, but destroy.
The creature is destroyed, so Willie gets to ignore his own trigger, which hardly seems sporting. Tabernacle's a global card.
Feels like it should be an aura, an enchantment. World enchantment.
Turned into a creature during...
Time Spiral.
Yeah.
So he's going to get back 2 of them.
Just in case. The first one gets dazed.
Yeah. I thought it was getting dazed.
That would have been legal.
Certainly a legal target for that. Yeah. Just like Abrupt Decay is legal.
So Willie takes that game, takes that first game of the match.
Pretty quickly.
On the back of... Yeah, that's right. Kind of an awkward start from Jack. Ended with a quick finish from Willie, making a 20/20 and then dealing the extra 1 damage with that Punishing Fire.
So looks like there's a couple cards Jack bring in. I saw a Standstill. Did you see a Standstill?
No, I saw a Back to Basics. I was too busy looking.
Another spicy enchantment.
Back to Basics, pretty good. I think it's...
It's a little awkward out of these Merfolk decks when they're playing 4 Cavern of Souls, 4 Mutavault.
Sure.
You basically need to have Rishadan or Aether Vial to really be able to use them.
Right, and it's you don't get to attack with Mutavaults but once.
And in these matchups, usually your lands are producing mana, not generating value, is the way that I tend to look at my mana sources and stuff. So it looks like there's a Boseiju and
Seismic Assault.
Seismic Assault. I saw a red card, wasn't sure what it was.
You saw 3 red symbols.
I only saw one. I actually didn't see any, I just saw that the card was red.
Sure. Looks like Willie's subbing out for... is that Wasteland?
I think that was a Tranquil Thicket.
That's interesting. But I suppose, fair enough. It's like having that slow land, not exceptionally helpful. Looks like he's just shaving 1-drops.
Yeah, Mana Bombs.
Yeah, I thought he took a gamble that first card I saw.
Maybe that's what it was. A Frozen Grip and a Choke. The other card's great. Choke seems very good.
These players hate each other.
Yeah.
You got Back to Basics, and I got a Choke coming out.
Yeah, so if there's Back to Basics and Choke, Jack does not get to untap any of his lands. Whereas Jack on the other side, I imagine he's going to board out True Names. They're actually pretty weak in this matchup. Getting up to 3 mana is pretty tough, and you don't usually want your Bio on 3. I also see that he's bringing in some Echoing Truths, which is a very good answer for the 20/20.
Definitely.
And I've also seen people, in response to a Mana Bomb trigger, bounce the Mana Bomb. Because they still are going to put their stuff in, because they still want to dump the 3 lands they got off Throne, but now they also lose the Mana Bomb.
Or they can decline to use the ability.
Yes, of course, because they choose on resolution. But usually when you low them and get 3 lands in your hand, you want to get them into play ASAP.
The cost of the Mana Bond is expensive, but not that expensive.
It can matter early on if your opponent basically like needs to dump them to assemble a combo or assemble like Wasteland Mission import. And if you have some way of dealing with one of two of the lands, and you also want to get rid of the mana bond so they can't do it again next turn, it's a good way to attack it.
Yeah. That core fun. I think I see Submerge going back into the bin for Jack.
Makes sense.
Do you like Submerge in this matchup?
Not really. The way you want to attack these matchups is not by saying, okay, if my opponent makes a 20/20 and can make one every turn,
Then I'm going to get him with the one Submerge.
yes. It's not how you want to attack these matchups. You want to like Wasteland makes sense because it's not costing you a spell, right? It's just a land.
Right.
So I would not say that having Submerge is going to help you. If the thing is it's not bad. Like if you're boarding out 6 cards and you only have 3 cards to board in,
Fair enough.
you may as well board in some Submerges. It's going to be better than something like True Analysis.
Yeah, who knows what they can bring in.
But yeah, so for any of you guys that don't know, we got something sweet for you coming up this weekend.
Definitely.
There is a Grand Prix trial here at Card Kingdom, and if it's anything like the number of people that showed up for this weekly event here, it's going to be one of the bigger GPTs in the Seattle area.
I think maybe one of the bigger GPTs on record.
Yeah.
Being blowing the doors out of this place. We have 66 participants in the room.
Just for tonight, just for a regular weekly Legacy, $10 buy-in.
It's never regular here at Card Kingdom.
Once you start drawing your hand, you are assumed to be on the play.
But it's
So basically,
But so this Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific time, we have a Grand Prix trial, and usually they cap at around 100, I think, here. A little bit under, is that right?
100 players with our layout would be hard. I think it might be closer to 64 or 72.
Okay.
That 64 player mark is very convenient. I say we. I used to run the events here. I no longer do. But 64 is a good number. You have 6 rounds, cut to top 8. That's not an exceptionally difficult day, but it's still 9 rounds of Magic for anyone who wants to make it to the finals.
Absolutely. So looks like Jack's going to start off here with a Cavern of Souls into Lord of Atlantis.
Pretty good here.
I know Willie has a Punishing Fire in his hand, but I don't know if he's got a second mana source in play.
He fetches a basic forest. It's likely that he's going to follow it up with at least some sort of red.
I don't know why he fetched the forest here. Maybe he wants to play around a potential back to basics or wasteland.
Reasonable. He knows it. His strategy susceptible to early disruption.
Absolutely.
Would rather have the land that makes a kind of an awkward color.
And he drops another Punishing Fire.
That's pretty good here.
He's got a Taiga in hand, so I imagine he's just going to cast his Taiga now.
you're right.
Play the Taiga, cast a Punishing Fire right now. Interesting. So he has a Seismic Assault in hand. I probably would have fetched the red source there with Seismic Assault in hand.
That is the one awkward part about, well, the one. Seismic Assault is very, very good once you get it online, but difficult for this deck with, how many red producing lands are in this deck? Maybe 8?
In that ballpark. 10 maybe?
Yeah, really, really needing to draw a lot of colored mana specifically.
He's got a fetch land, which makes it a lot easier because there's a loam as well, so he can loam back that fetch land and turn that into a land every turn, but I feel like it's better to just start off by doing that.
Absolutely.
Maybe he was afraid of not hitting the second mana source to be able to cast the loam.
Doesn't want to give his opponent an additional juicy target for a spell pierce or something like that.
Makes sense.
We see a Silvergirl Adept following in the footsteps of his fallen lord.
And this is really awkward because Willie just drew a Punishing, or a Burning Will. So that can buy back the Punishing Fire. Punishing Fire can kill that guy.
And we can see that the last Punishing Fire on the Lord just resolved out. Oh my goodness.
And he has a second Punishing Fire, so he's just going to use the Punishing Fire in hand, get both of them in the yard.
Let's see how this True Nemesis fares. Is that a... Oh man. I think there's
a Harbinger of the Tides.
Harbinger of the
That
Tides.
card has actually been making waves in Legacy. It's very good, Merfolk. You can Violet in on 2.
Oh, that's
really
pretty
nice. And it doesn't just bounce attacking creatures, it bounces tapped creatures.
Any type of creatures.
So if your opponent activates Mother Runes, you
that's
can
pretty good.
bounce Mother Runes in response, things like that.
All right. Yeah, I think in this matchup, probably serve to be a vanilla 2/2.
I could potentially see leaving 4 mana up if your opponent is trying to end the game with Mirage.
Willie draws another red source in the form of Grave of the Burn Willows.
Really good draw for him.
But
He only has 2 lands in his hand right now.
and they're both
Mizzix, it looked like.
not mana producing.
So he could have potentially played Seismic Assault there.
Declines. There's little use to it here.
And this is a little funky. So GT is a draw for Jack. However, Willie has an abrupt or a Prison Grip.
Yeah.
And so K Grip will be able to get rid of that GT, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Bringing the clock down from 7 a turn down to back to 3.
Yeah.
Still something that Willie needs to be mindful of.
Yeah, a reasonable number.
Willie's not going to kill Jack before the True Nemesis does him in. So
Well, he'll be able. Oh, so he doesn't actually. I would have bought back a Punishing Fire on end step there. I guess he's afraid of Surgical Extraction.
reasonable.
reasonable card to play around. And Exploration is a draw for Willie, so I imagine Exploration is going to get played, and then Life from the Loam is going to get played.
He's going to play both of these mazes.
Okay.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's waiting to deploy this. Maybe he's waiting to get this Life from the Loam in.
Okay. I'm surprised he hasn't put the engine online yet.
Still worried about Surgical Extraction.
Okay. I just feel like Surgical is not going to be able to hit both, and I think you lose if both of them get eaten, but not if only one gets eaten.
Fair. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's worried about this specific thing happening here.
Lord getting played.
That's
Makes
right.
sense.
Now he's got enough mana to buy back both of his Punishing Fires.
He only wants to buy back one and recast, is my guess.
Makes sense, yeah. Opens him up to Surgical Extraction, but that's okay, because then he just follows up with Life from the Loam and then lets that. Now what he can do is kill his opponent through, outrace his opponent with the
Seismic Assault?
That's right.
Yeah, that is a 246 damage a turn,
More than 3.
assuming you limbs every turn, which is what you're doing when you have that card to play, I
Yeah.
feel.
It's an argument for sandbagging one of the Mazabits.
Yeah.
So an extra shock just in case of emergencies.
Oh, and there's a crop rotation as a draw for him,
that's
so maybe he'll just try and assemble the combo as soon as possible. I
know-
would start loaming right away.
Hang on a second. I'm
Oh,
not
I
sure.
think that's Boil.
I also think it's Boyle.
I think it's Boil. I don't know if I like bringing in Boil in this match.
I definitely don't like it in this board.
Look at this mana base from Jack. It's
Yeah.
3 non-islands, and
Yeah.
2 of them are blue producing, so that's kind of clunky for him.
Yeah, now Seismic Assault would have been really something here, but Boyle is a little more awkward. Jack doesn't even want to activate his Mutable, not trying to get his land destroyed with this punishment.
At worst, it'll get mazed, which means you're wasting a mana.
Yeah. And Jack's not looking to attack his resources, at least on that axis. We'll see if Willie wants to blow the scrap rotation in the end step.
I'm guessing that he should just be punishing firing. It's kind of a slow clock, so maybe he doesn't want to do that. I'm surprised he's not doing anything at all. Like, I feel like you should be... With a crop rotation, you want to be dropping loam and just digging into one of the pieces. Once you have one piece, and crop rotation finds the other one, you have a 20/20 that's, very fast clock. And maybe that's why he's not punishing firing. But I feel like he could have bought back both punishing fires, put Jack at 22, and then had 2 punishing fires in his hand to be able to counter it out.
100% safe from Surgical Extraction if they're not in the graveyard.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know what this...
I feel like doing nothing is a very ineffective strategy versus true pieces, and that's what we're electing to do. And I'm wondering if it's going to cost him. It is going to punish him.
I'm not for that, but you do bring up a good point. Willie's down to 7th in this combat. He's only got 3 turns left to find something to do. Maybe he's...
He's hoping to slow draw into one piece of the combo, I guess. But I feel like that's what Loam draws 3 cards a turn, right? Draws 3 cards in your graveyard.
3's more than 1. Maybe he wants to. He may be trying to find a tricky line where he gets to destroy all of his opponent's lands, and then crop rotate into Tabernacle again. That is a surefire way. Well, that's not a surefire way. That is one way to get rid of the True Name.
But to do that, he'll need several wastelands.
And fast too.
Yeah, he's got 2 turns to find 3 wastelands, and without doing anything with Loam, that's just not going to work. So it looks like he's electing to boil here.
Okay. See if he wants to fight over it.
I also really don't like how he didn't tap one of or he should have left one of the graves untapped.
Yep.
Because now he's opening Surgical again.
Yeah. But I think Jack's had a couple of opportunities to blow a Surgical if he needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't think it really... Yeah, okay. It's going to resolve regardless.
Yeah. Jack...
Maybe he's going to turn into Glacial Chasm?
Makes sense, but at what cost? Like, he's...
So with Loam and Exploration, you can actually you can Chasm lock.
Forever.
Yeah, because you just don't pay
sure.
it. You don't ever pay the cumulative upkeep.
You just
and
put it in the
loam
bin,
back.
and then you play a land, you loam, play a land for turn. Play the Glacial Chasm, sack the land you just played, and there it is.
Yep.
We'll see when we see that coming out of Willie.
I'm surprised, I feel like he probably should have done that a little bit earlier, or he should have been loaming it earlier so he'd have more lands in play, because
Yeah.
while you're at this point, you don't actually get to generate any lands. You sit at the same number every single turn with one Exploration, and you don't get regular draws.
Is this the minimum amount to slowly punishing fire someone to death? He's got. He's gonna.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He actually is 1 mana over the limit.
Oh, fair enough. He's got. Also, he's got access to both of his punishing both of his groves, so he's again protected from Surgical.
And
but
you
I
can
think
also
that's-
choose to pay the cumulative upkeep first 1 or 2 times.
Oh, sure. And he's at. He declines this case. And if he's sitting at 10, that's a pretty healthy amount.
Okay, and he draws 1 piece of the Dark Depths combo, which,
there it is.
it's the turn after you used Thespian Stage.
Perfect time. Or his crop rotation.
Yeah, it's competition to go find Thespian Stage. So that's a little strange for him. A little awkward.
Yeah. We here we see the loam finally coming online. Gets back the chasm, another land, and yet another land.
Maze of Ith, which I imagine is just going to get eaten immediately on the fetch land.
Maze of Ith not at its best versus Trainer Nemesis. And here we might start to see the slow grind. Jack opting to put a counter on his Saber Bow. Heads up play, I like it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Here comes a Rashad.
Upkeep, tap one of your lands. I don't know if I like that because you could be P-firing this turn.
Sure. But alternately, now you have this exact opportunity to get both of your punishing cards back, and then you can have them sit in your hand for the rest of the game.
I suppose, yeah, you're right.
They kind of contrived. I'd be surprised if it became relevant, but
Yeah, but you could do that while putting them in his graveyard, or while casting one of them as well. So he gets to have one man untapped. Because either way, your opponent targets one of the punishing fires, and you can recur that one and leave the other one in your graveyard.
that makes sense.
We're going to see the chasm. He's not going to pay the cumulative upkeep again.
Hardly.
I like how he has a die on 1 for the cumulative upkeep and a die on 3 for the loam.
Well, it makes sense. There's a lot of you basically play with your hand face up with this deck, and it's difficult until you've got a lot of games under your belt with it to keep track of what else going on, where exactly you are in the turn, which is not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, there's a lot of decisions that get made on your upkeep. There's decisions in your draw step. You have decisions in main phase. Sometimes you do stuff during the combat step. Maze of Ith, your guy.
Yep.
I've done that before. Attack with the Merit Lodge while my opponent had more than 20.
Oh, you get to Maze it to reset the
And end of combat step, I believe, is the name of that phase.
That's
end
correct.
of combat phase.
You can do it in the damage phase, or the damage step as well. I'm pretty sure both players get priority.
Yep. After damage is dealt.
Yeah. Jack takes a Violet to 2, takes a drop.
It's mutable. So Jack's really just looking for a wasteland here. Drawing a wasteland, I think, kills Willie. Is that correct? 3, 4, 5, and then Lord is going to be 6, 7. Nope, it's not lethal. It will be lethal next turn when he has 2 Beautiful to play.
That's right.
Or 2 Beautiful attacking.
Willie has, for the past couple turns, declined to recur any of his punishing fires. Let's see if he remembers this turn.
I don't like this line at all. If you try and punishing fire it, he's just going to flash on a Lord in response.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I like
he's
it.
going
He's going upstairs, where he should go.
Yeah. Brings Jack down to 19. Which make sure we update these life totals right quick.
Yeah, I think they are correct. Besides, Jack just didn't write that one down. We'll see. That fixed out. And Glacial Chasm, not going to pay the cumulative upkeep again. We're going to move into draw step for Willie, and I assume Willie is going to dredge loam here. Oh,
Oh, looks like we missed it.
no worries.
Looks like we missed a combat from earlier.
One damage step, and so now we're moving into draw step. Dredge loam here. Get that in my grave. Get that in my hand. Get these cards in my grave. Tabernacle and a choke.
Well, choke does not function from the graveyard, but that's okay. The chasm lock looks like it's choking Willie out or choking Jack out pretty well.
Yeah, choking the combat damage step at least.
Yeah.
Jack's more than welcome to do anything he wants as long as it's not wasteland.
Yeah,
Is what Willie's hoping.
I think so.
We see the chasm lock again.
Still continues to make sense. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that Willie will make the decision at some point to play the Dark Depths from his hand.
Will he?
I don't know. I won't stretch that one out.
Will Willie?
Will,
I'll make it tough.
you're the worst. The Dark Depths play sacrificing one of his irrelevant, I guess maybe his basic force.
Probably Rishadan for I guess.
Also makes sense.
He hasn't been activating it, so.
Yeah. Willie gonna take 2.
Okay, so it's just one. Cumulative upkeep one life, I thought.
No, it's 2 left.
Is it?
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
He falls from 7 to 5.
I have incorrectly played that card several times.
That's okay. Now you know.
Now I do know.
Yeah.
And so he's doing this. I assume he wants to get a couple more lands in play. He gets
sense.
one rotation of lands here.
He can play the Dark Depths and a stage.
Yep. That's really what you want. And then
Or he can just play Dark Depths and another mana-producing land. And then he can have 3 lands per turn to tick down his Dark Depths.
Oh yeah, very cool. Interesting. I think he's got a Magus of the Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale that he wants to play. I've played more Magus of the Tabernacle than Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale.
Magus of the Tabernacle, a 2/6 creature.
Yes, that guy has a large booty.
So big.
Very hard for aggressive deck to deal with.
You gotta pay and you gotta get through.
Way back in the day in Legacy when Zoo was the top deck. What was that, 2008, I think?
Oh my goodness. That's
2009 maybe?
getting to be around before my time.
I played a lot of Armageddon stacks, the mono white stat stacks.
very
And I played a lot of both of those cards. And I think it was 4 of each. Maybe it was only 3 Tabernacle of Pendrell Vales.
That's terrible. How could you do that to somebody?
You got Mox Diamonds to discard him too, so
Yeah,
you need lands, so.
Yeah, it makes sense. We see the Tabernacle hit the field. Jack is happy to have some of his lands do something for once.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I get to use my mana for something?
Oh, my
I'll
goodness.
do it.
Declines to pay for Curse Catcher.
Makes sense.
I think so.
Don't really think that card's doing anything anymore. Spell Pierce is a draw, which,
Very poorly timed.
yeah, a little late.
Needed that to counter one of these Life from the Limbs a couple turns back.
Yeah, Jack really is just looking for a Wasteland. That's the one draw that wins him the game, I believe.
There's
Yeah, so he's not going to pay cumulative upkeep this time.
4 is a lot more than 2.
Yeah, when you're at 5, 4 is a big.
Yeah. Willie very nearly could open himself up to Psionic Blast out of the Merfolk deck. That'd be a little fringe playable, but would be an exceptional finish to this game.
It's a very spicy meatball.
Absolutely. That's a lot of damage. So here you see the Loam recast. Get back a pair of lands.
I imagine so.
Jack considering blowing the Spell Pierce there, but that's the Loam resolve.
He'd be able to pay for Willie would be able to pay for it, so not too big of a deal.
A couple times over in a row.
2.5 times.
That's
He could hardcast the Force Will if there was Prismatic Omen in play.
Prismatic Omen. Pretty strong pick for this lands deck. He could get accrue additional colored mana out of his Tabernacle, unless he's Rashadin Court tap or anything. Plus, let's Grove get around the drawback of giving your opponent a life point.
You could also get blown out by Choke and Boil if you have those in your deck.
Oh, it does give all lands tap. Yes, makes sense.
There's an opportunity cost there, I suppose.
Yeah, you know.
I've been playing a lot of Modern recently, and Escape Shift with the new Bring to Light,
Oh, yeah.
very good with Prismatic Omen.
Oh, that's pretty slick.
If you have Prismatic Omen in play, you can play Bring to Light for any number, up to 5, and then go Cascade Shift, and then win the game.
It's really that simple. Bring to Light fetches an instant. No, a creature, a sorcery, or.
It's a instant sorcery, creature, or land, I believe.
No, it can't be land because you cast. It says cast, not play.
Oh, you're right. I think you can also get enchantments too. You can't get planeswalkers. I know that.
Oh, that's not.
So I think it's no planeswalkers and no lands, but anything else is good.
We'll see a Thespian stage. Hit the field or hit the bin for Willie. We'll see if he decides to assemble the Dark Depths combo.
I imagine that he's going to get the Thespian stage, the Glacial Chasm, and another land, and then he's going to play the Glacial Chasm, sacking one of his other lands, and then play the Thespian stage. And then next turn he can do the same thing, but with Dark Depths instead.
Yeah. Looks like Willie forgot to discard on his last turn.
Oh, whoops. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of cards in hand, so.
Yeah, well, boy, does he.
None of them are too relevant, though. That's the thing about these Prism decks. There's only a few cards that really matter, and then a lot of cards that don't matter, so.
Just discard a card randomly. That's why Gamble's so effective in a strategy like this.
There's very few cards that you're not okay discarding, and usually those ones cost 1 mana. So you can get them out very early before you cast Gamble.
So we see Willie fingering the that Thespian stage.
Here's the Glacial Chasm. Looks like he's going to eat the Wasteland. No, he's going to eat a Grove. Okay. I
Reasonable.
don't really think it matters what he eats, as long as it's not the Thespian stage.
Agree.
Or itself.
Oh, that is an option.
I'm going to sacrifice a land.
Any land at all. Jack continues to pay the upkeep. Sitting on a full grip of cards here.
So shift the turn back.
Yeah. Cool. Now we see Jack sitting on an Echoing Truth in addition to a Spell Pierce, and also the Harbinger of the Tides. He's got so many ways to interact with this 2020 token.
Absolutely.
And it's at not an insignificant cost to Willie to assemble the 2020.
So actually what we're going to do here is another variant of the lock.
Sure.
If you have 2 Thespian stages, you can Thespian stage to copy the Glacial Chasm, and then sack the Glacial Chasm with cumulative upkeep.
Oh, sure.
And then you don't get the comes into play effect.
And you haven't played this new chasm, so you don't have to sacrifice the land.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
And if you have 2 Thespian stages, then you have your other Thespian stage to copy that Thespian stage.
And it requires doesn't require a land drop, but costs a lot more of your mana.
Yes.
Now the Thespian stage can't have mana. Interesting note.
Yes. It does have the ability to copy itself, though. Copy another land.
Oh, interesting.
What I believe works is if you Thespian stage the copy of Thespian stage, it has 2 different activations of the same
I
ability.
believe you're right.
Because it becomes a copy of that land, except it also has this
And gains
ability.
the ability. I don't think it gains the second ability. I believe the copy layer occurs before the gain ability layer.
Okay.
Difficult to say. Can't imagine it being relevant, so I'm not going to worry about it.
It's already got it once. Doesn't need it
Yeah,
twice.
the second instance is extraneous. Looks like Jack has to play now.
Oh, he's going to Spell Pierce his life.
Oh my goodness, that's going to counter it.
Going to resolve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That might...
I don't think it's going to matter too much. Really has a lot of lands he can play this turn, and so he can
Sure. But
He still has a thespian stage you can play right now. That's
with the
copying
Glacial Chasm,
That's
that's right.
copying Glacial Chasm.
But,
So I think he's okay with that.
Willie's opened himself up to getting wastelanded. But
I mean, he's always been open to Wasteland.
That's true.
There's never been a time where he isn't open to Wasteland.
good point. Okay.
Hasn't been drawn yet though. So
see
we'll
the
have
dark-
to see if this is the turn and then it happens.
See the Dark Depths at the field. Jack's got one turn to deposit his entire hand on the field. Heads up remembers. Basic Island not going to do it. Echoing Truth is bounces non-lands, as I understand it.
Yes.
Reasonable.
As does Harbinger. That bounces a creature.
I wonder if there's if Jack had an opportunity to do Echoing Truth the Exploration at any point to try to hamstring Willie's development.
Interesting. That would actually have been pretty good. I feel like just about in any window, Willie could have recasted the Exploration.
I'm certainly right. So we see the Glacial Cat, the cumulative upkeep trigger on the stack. Willie's going to use his.
Looks like he's tapping the. He's copying the Thespian stage.
He's going
copying
up.
the Dark Depths.
That's right.
Legendary rule these guys out. State-based effects. The one with 0 counters.
Gets state-based trigger. A few of those exist. Willie does not have to even consider paying one. Fair enough. Level 4 Judge reminding me that it is merely a state trigger, not a state-based trigger. How embarrassing.
It's okay. I said state-based effect. I was even further off.
No, that's okay. Well, yeah. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of.
It is important to notice that that token is summoning 6, so he can't attack with it this turn.
That's right.
But of course, it's probably just going to get Echoing Truth, is my guess.
A safe bet. I think
I feel like Willie should have probably held off on that boil until the turn he decided to go off,
makes sense.
preventing it from getting Echoing Truth. However, Harbinger of the Tides would still be able to answer it.
That's right. Jack still has his Violin 2 and has 4 lands. Access to it.
Yeah. 5 lands even. So he's going to play this Glacial Chasm. He's going to sack a land.
Yep. Well, now interesting to note that Willie can't attack if he has a Glacial Chasm.
Yes, you have to sack it or waste it and then attack with your 2020.
Now there's one. If he doesn't sequence his plays just so on his turn where he tries to one-shot Jack with the 2020, he might leave himself open to getting his token bounced and then dying without the protection of the Glacial Chasm.
Absolutely. Yeah, if he sacks it and then plays his 2 lands and then attacks, he'd be in very bad shape.
Jack passes it back.
I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this. I'm also going to have my Tabernacle trigger resolved. Choose to destroy it. Tried my best.
Really
3
picking
more.
3 more lands.
2 more this time. And a gamble.
Oh, nice.
And gamble basically would have found whatever he needed at this point. And we're going to attack for 20. 4 blocks. Flash and Harbinger. He's like, ooh, that's a good one.
Very nice.
What was thinking? No actual interaction with that.
Yeah, a 2/2. Sure thing.
Oh, I like this line a lot. He's going to Mazavith his own,
It removes it from combat.
untaps it and removes it from combat.
Very nice. Okay.
So it's no longer a legal target for that Harbinger ability to fizzle.
Right.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Wouldn't have
line.
seen that one, but does leave him with the 2020 at no extra additional cost.
This is true. There's still the Echoing Truth that he has to get through.
And here we're waiting for Jack to peel off that Force of Will.
Yeah.
Don't think he has it.
I don't think Force Will is enough. I believe he has a second one in his hand.
How could he? His hand is all lands.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Oh, maybe he milled past the one, but didn't put it in his hand. You might be right.
Doesn't have access to the Tranquil Ticket either. Couldn't reset it.
You're correct. Really, what Jag is looking for is a Wasteland. Wasteland wins the game.
Just right on the spot too. He's got flash. He can flash in a second lord after he attacks with the Trinity. Actually, he can't attack around.
Well, I mean, you can just attack.
Yeah, but you just need the one. Let's see if that is.
It's an Aether Vial. Not good enough.
Absolutely
This is
not.
really too bad for Jack. He's had about 8 or 9 turns to draw on a Wasteland here, and he just hasn't.
Yeah, hasn't seen one the whole game, but that's just when you're playing a blue deck with little library manipulation. You expose yourself to the same that same level of praying.
Yeah.
But Death and Taxes, for example,
Death Attacks, Maverick, Goblins, they all have that issue.
just hope the top of the deck is good enough.
Still loam activation.
Comes one more Punishing Fire. Let's see if this combat is sufficient. We already know that it's not. Here comes.
Oh,
Yeah.
another Harbinger. Same strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buys himself at least one more draw step.
At least 2 more. Wow, and actually Willie's getting a little bit low on life.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's a lot. It's more than
It's 5 or 6 turns, right?
yeah. That's a long time. Jack hoping for his own Dreamstalkers to reset his Harbingers.
That would be very good.
Yeah.
The value strategy. So he's going to go ahead and cast Loam here.
Makes sense. Gets back this one Glacial Chasm. You know, Jack not sure if he boarded in Surgical Extraction. Man, would it have been really good at almost any point this entire game.
Absolutely. Getting rid of that Glacial Chasm is huge.
Yeah.
I'm surprised really is not finishing with the Punishing Fire plan. That's what I would have gone for.
It's a lot of effort, is the thing.
I mean, this is clearly a lot of effort too. There's a lot more interaction for a 2020 than there is for a spell you cast every turn.
The death of 1,000 needles.
Yes. Also, I like winning with Punishing Fire just because your opponent knows it's happening every single step of the way.
They see it coming very slowly. It's really discarding the hand size here.
This card's a fetch land. Probably doesn't want to crack that.
Unlikely. May not have any legal targets. Or may not have any hits in his deck.
Is that a wasteland?
That is a Reejerey.
Oh, okay.
And he's still got that Echoing Truth 7. Mirror Reejerey. And that's pretty interesting. That upon cast trigger.
Tap on tap permanent.
Yeah, unlikely to have a huge impact, so never mind.
Yeah, I was trying to think about like a way the stack could be construed in such a way that really would have to activate both Maze of Iths, and I just don't think that would ever happen.
Again, you know, like you said, he's hoping for one of two things to happen. Willie forgets to play Glacial Chasm, or he draws a Wasteland.
Yes. Maybe he's not running Wasteland. I feel like you're likely to see a Wasteland by now.
He does have white-bordered Lord of Atlantis. It's not out of the question that he's just without Wasteland. But even in a budget version like this, you know, I still like Ghost Quarter. At least some way to interact with lands.
Yeah, another answer for the 2020. This one is a little bit more permanent though.
Yeah. So Willie's going to have to invest significant...
He puts the Mirage into his hand.
Like, he's not wrong. It does go to the hand for a brief moment. Resolving the spell to the letter of the law, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So I imagine this Loam will still he's still going to make the Glacial Chasm combo.
Yeah.
But then he's also going to, rather than sack the land he plays this turn, he's going to sack a different land and then play the Thespian Stage, or the Dark Depths in his hand, so Thespian Stage.
He does have a lot of extra Maze of Ith. Maze of Ith. The Tabernacle is minimally effective at this moment, I think. The Merfolk deck can't really go wide around a Tabernacle, or can't go wide around a Glacial Chasm.
I'm surprised he hasn't been sacking the Maze of Iths. I feel like they're pretty irrelevant.
I think so too. Kind of accelerate not your overall number of lands, but
Accelerate your mana producing lands.
let's stuff that does things.
Yeah, he could be putting lands into play that do stuff. So like he could have the backup combo in the rings already.
Sure.
And say, sure, you killed my combo, and Step will make another one.
Yeah. Is this one good? How about this one? You know, this is the third turn straight that Merit Lage hasn't been able to connect. Bloodthirsty at this point. Maybe Will's doing it now to just out of stubbornness. It's like, you want to mess with my 2020, I'll show you. This 2020 is coming for you.
Yeah. He's on the way. I feel like at this point it's too late to commit to the Punishing Fire plan.
Yeah, he might not have enough cards in his deck left.
That's really what it comes down to. He can obviously just regular draw every turn, but I don't think he's got enough mana to really do the combo every turn, because he still needs to play Thespian Stage and another land every turn.
Yeah.
Or, not Thespian Stage, Glacial Chasm.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't tried to set up the Thespian Stage combo lock, so where Thespian Stage copies of Thespian Stage, copying Glacial Chasm.
Yeah, he has enough. He has a raw number of lands that's enough to do that. But he's placing a higher priority on his Maze of Iths.
Which doesn't make any sense, because True Name kills you, so...
So you need at least some Glacial Chasms.
Yeah. At this point, I would assume my opponent has at least 2 Lords in his hand, so he can easily make True Name a 5/3, and one swing is lethal.
Yeah. Here comes the chasm. Staving the
Trigger.
Yeah, probably gonna resolve. Keeps Jack at bay one more turn.
Get rid of the maze. Okay. I just feel like this land set could have won the game a long time ago.
I think so too, but it would have involved coming at it from a different angle, trying to recur those Punishing Fires.
I mean, even if he had decided to go for the soft block, I feel like this game could have been over a little bit longer. A little bit.
Jack continuing to pay for the Tabernacle. There's a draw. So yet another basic island.
He's looking for a land, but it's not a basic.
It's different. No, it's pretty close though. Now it's Jack really sitting and thinking about how he can.
Don't throw this out.
How on earth he's going to get around this Glacial Chasm. He can't go under it. Can't go over it. Can't go through it. Just gotta wait it out. Willie at this point has drawing the 11th card in his deck. Finds a gamble. Okay, that's pretty interesting.
You can go down 10 cards instead if he wants to.
Yeah. He's looks like he. Oh, that's
Interesting. So he
that's a lot. He
doesn't have
he upkeeped copied the Glacial Chasm.
Oh, okay. So he is going for the combo. I missed that. So he does have a lock here.
Yeah. He's got a good amount of time. He's opened himself to this one turn, getting blown out by a Wasteland here. Doesn't have enough.
I don't think Wasteland does it.
Oh no, he's got one extra. He's got 2 mana producing lands and also another Thespian Stage in any configuration.
So the Thespian Stage is in effect, and he's going to go ahead and say upkeep. Sack trigger on the stack. I'll make this a copy of. Oh, okay, so
Okay.
I actually don't like this one at all either. I would have made one of the other Thespian Stage a copy of Glacial Chasm, and then
Do the dance eventually.
yeah, do the 2020 dance. And also, this is awkward because that token's summoning sick this turn.
Yeah.
So at worst, he should have done it and step last turn.
Interesting. Well, he wants to untap the land that currently is the Glacial Chasm. Willie's got to mill himself down to what I believe is 7 to reset his soft lock. Plays a single land for turn.
We got one.
Comes the Glacial Chasm.
Glacial Chasm, Thespian Stage, and then it doesn't really matter what the other ones.
Honestly, yeah.
Some land that produces mana. Probably don't want to get Dark Depths at this point. I guess you can if you want to.
He might just gets a Wasteland. That's interesting. Oh, okay, and the Glacial Chasm. All right, perfect. Okay, all right, this all sounds right. Looking at 3 minutes left on the clock here. Really better wrap this one up.
Yeah, maybe that was Willie's strategy. Well, Willie's up a game, right? So I think he's okay with this game.
That's
being
the
a
second land for turn. He played a Taiga this turn, I'm pretty sure.
draw. I believe you're right. I think you did. This could be bad news. This could be very bad news, actually. There's only a couple minutes left in the round, so I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen with this call. But I think they can rewind this. I think it's just the land goes back to hand. Don't think it's a huge cost. It's a Thespian Stage, not a Glacial Chasm. But we're going to see. Casey, honorary judge, is on the case. So it looks like, no, it was actually the Glacial Chasm. This is a very big deal.
Yeah, that's right. Willie led with Taiga into Life from the Loam, played a land, and then played his Glacial Chasm. So
He's going to get punished very hard for this. So
Yeah.
Jack has a free window to attack here.
with the True Name Nemesis, that's enough to get right through it.
Yep.
Let's see if he can't find a way to. I mean, he has so many Thespian Stages. Surely one of them has to find a way out of this one.
What's really awkward is that there's Punishing Fires that would do a pretty good job.
Yeah,
but
he's only colorless mana. And
Yeah.
all his grows are in the graveyard. Here comes a six power True Name Nemesis.
he missed his third land drop. He had an Exploration. He played 2 lands and then played the Glacial Chasm.
Yeah.
And now he's getting punished for it.
Goes Reejerey into.
Wait, did he not attack?
Oh, not yet.
Oh, okay. Now he
comes.
goes. Oh, I see. The Reejerey tapped down the Mirage. Okay. So I believe that's lethal coming in.
Willie's got 2 mazes, but it's insufficient. With 2 minutes left on the clock,
I don't know if they're going to be able to get a third game through.
not sure. I'm gonna spoil the ending a little bit for you. These players agreed to split in
beforehand?
Yeah,
Okay.
beforehand. So I think they're fine taking an unintentional draw here.
Okay.
I may go Little Nether off the hook. You might be.
Yeah. I don't know if we really want to watch the first couple turns of this match.
Yeah,
It's a draw. They decided to do intentional negotiations. So, yeah, with only 1.5 minutes left, they're deciding not to play it out.
Players are.
Hello and welcome back to the booth, you guys. So that was 4 rounds of Legacy here at Card Kingdom. And we have a Grand Prix Trail coming up this weekend, Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be here. You guys should be here if you want more Legacy. I'm not 100% sure who the casting team is. I know it'll be me, as I already have my buys.
I might.
You might? Do you want to play in the event? I don't want to stop someone from playing in the event.
I'm not
so-
sure. You know, it's.
Okay.
I like this. Is pretty fun.
Commentary's fun.
Yeah.
It's nice on the GPTs as well because you have 3 people, so you get a little downtime between each round.
You get to see a different combination of people every round. You get to see a lot more Magic. And when people are playing for slightly higher stakes, you see the really players from outside of their comfort zone, or players that don't make it out for the Monday night weekly, come out really raises the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more serious players playing. The stakes are a little bit higher, so everyone is on kind of their A game.
That's right.
Yeah, but we'll be here, so you guys feel free to tune in, twitch.tv/Card Kingdom. And so from everyone here at Card Kingdom, from me, from Casey, from Cornejo running the event and running the stream.
All 66 players.
Yeah, all 66 players.
That's so
Thanks
many.
to those guys as well. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
But from all of us here, we'll see you on Saturday and then see you next Monday. Thanks for watching, guys.